Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to need tech over here. Do we have a technical advisor?
I don't think it's not working. Mine's not working either.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9:30. We are going to start. If I could have technical advisor come on up, make sure our microphones work. So I'd like to welcome
Go ahead and try now.
everybody to the Board of County Commissioners meeting of October 8th, 2024. If the clerk of the court complete, or the clerk of the commission, please call the roll.
Commissioner Barnett. Commissioner Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Bernard.
Here.
Vice Mayor Marino.
Here.
Mayor Sachs.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, if we could please rise for the prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you in this time of uncertainty and fear. We lift up the people of Florida as they face the approaching hurricane. Shelter them in your protection, Lord, and grant us safety and peace. Give wisdom to those who lead and strength to those who serve, ensuring the care and well-being of all. Calm the storm. Protect the vulnerable. May your presence be felt in every heart, bringing comfort and joy. Protect the people of Palm Beach County and all of Florida as we face another storm. In your mercy we trust. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good.
All right.
Seems like my microphone is working. Everybody else's microphone is working. So we're going to go right ahead with the agenda approval. Are there any additions, deletions, substitutions to the agenda as presented?
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the board. We have on page 11, 3C3, we have a revised summary. It better clarifies the process. On page 41, 4A has been deleted for a later date. Also on page 41, 4K has been deleted and will be brought back on December 3rd. On page 41, there is an add-on, which is 4O, and it's being moved from off-site into the chambers this morning. On page 44, 5C1, there's clarification in the motion. On page 42, 5C1, clarification in the summary. And then on page 47 is an add-on, and this is for Vanderbilt University. Status update and action I need the board to take.
Very good. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. Oh, that's it. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that takes care of any adoption of these issues. So if we have a motion to adopt the agenda as modified and substituted, we have from the Vice Mayor, a second by Commissioner Baxter. Are those for? Anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Let the record reflect that all 7 commissioners are here as well, and we certainly have a quorum. Should we go right on to special presentations at this time? Or should we go on to the consent? It looks like we're going on to the consent. Then we'll go to special presentations. Everybody sees that the consent agenda is specified on pages 8 to page 40. Do I have anybody who wishes to pull anything from the consent agenda at this time?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull FF Internal Auditor from consent.
Okay, could you please specify where that is found?
Page 40.
Very good.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
since this item is being pulled, Can we hear that item after the special presentation?
It's fine with me if it's okay with Commissioner Baxter.
Yep, fine.
Yes, it is?
Yep.
Commissioner Baxter says we can review this after the special presentations. And now, anybody oppose that? Seeing none, that we will review that and review the consent agenda as a whole without this after the special presentation. Or we could just go ahead and go for the consent agenda as amended without that one item at this time. Does anybody wish to pull anything else from the consent agenda? Seeing none, if I could have a first from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Baxter. We are voting on accepting the consent agenda as amended at this time. All those for, anybody opposed? See that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Now we can go on to our our special presentations. Commissioner Bernard, you're going to be on the left podium, and Vice Mayor Marino, you're going to be on the right. We're going to start with, this is my favorite part, I always like to do the presentation. Okay, Commissioner Bernard, you're on.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Would Samuel Pierre please come forward and family? It is a pleasure to present this certificate of recognition to you, Samuel Pierre. And, you know, a lot of times when we were brought up in a marginalized communities, we feel forgotten. However, I applaud you for showing our future leaders that they are not forgotten. And today I present this recognition, which is presented to Samuel Pierre, and it states, "Thank you for your many years of dedicated service to the betterment of the youth of Palm Beach County through programming and education," which is presented to you on this 8th day of October, 2024. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernard, and thank you to the whole body. We're going to miss you, Commissioner Bernard. You're a true leader. You're the one we look up to. We're so proud for everything that you've been doing, and so far you've been doing your work to the highest standard, and we're so grateful of all the opportunities we've had through you. And with you going to the state, we're sure that our kids will continue to have a great leader. Thank you.
Okay, while they're taking photos, I'm going to do the legal aid proclamation. So can I have, I've got a long list. Michelle Suskauer, Bob Shalhoub, Bob Burdish, Dana Brooks, Jerry Beer, Nelson Baez, Karis Engel, Alan Berger, and Lindsay Lefkowitz. Thank you. Good morning. So we are declaring October 2024 as the 75th anniversary of the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County. Whereas since opening in May 6, 1949 as a volunteer project of the Palm Beach County Bar Association, the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, Inc. has grown from having one part-time attorney to employing over 155 full-time professionals serving the county and surrounding communities. And whereas the society, established to provide free legal assistance to the poor on matters regarding family law and probate, is now a full-service law firm with 22 projects serving the most vulnerable community members. And whereas the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, Inc., originally funded by court fees and donations, is now a nonprofit law firm with a budget of $16 million that is funded by donors, grants, and limited government funding. And I'm going to stop right there. And anybody who hasn't signed up for the golf tournament on Monday, if it's not canceled, please do so. There will be Beat the Commissioner on one of the holes, so I welcome you all to join us. Now I'll go back to the proclamation. Whereas the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, Inc. is the state's largest nonprofit law firm, an award-winning agency advocating in the fields of children's rights, domestic violence, immigration, housing, family law, elder affairs, guardianship, bankruptcy, LGBTQ rights, and veterans benefits. And whereas the support of local attorneys is vital to the success of the Society's mission, last year, 4,856 pro bono hours valued at $1.2 million were donated, ensuring that clients receive high-quality free legal assistance. And whereas the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners celebrates and values the legacy of achievement of the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, Inc., and its vital role as a provider of excellence in law and driver of economic mobility for the county and region, now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October 2024, that October 2024 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed the 75th anniversary of the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County.
I want to thank the commissioners. If anyone doesn't know me, I'm Bob Burdish. I'm the Executive Director of Legal Aid, and I have had the privilege of being the Executive Director for 43 years. And when I started, as Commissioner Marino said, we had a budget of $200,000, which was basically funded by the county. So we have always had your support for as long as I know, over 40 years. I haven't been there 75 years, but I've been there 43 years. And we so appreciate your support. We provide services for over $8,000 vulnerable and $800,000 vulnerable and at-risk seniors, children, families, veterans, and adults here in Palm Beach County who without us would not have a voice in the judicial system. So again, thank you all so much. We so appreciate your support throughout the years, and the county does still remain one of our 5 top funders. Thank you.
You recognize Commissioner Mack.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Would Marie Kitley Said please come forward? Before I present this proclamation, this certificate of recognition, I get the chance to recognize Marie Kitley Said. And a little bit about her and my history is I remember being a young attorney coming to Palm Beach County in 2004. And, you know, I was a young tax attorney and real estate attorney, and you know, I was told that I needed to meet Marie Kitley Said. And I remember calling her, and she refused to take my phone calls. That is the truth. And, because, you know, I'm a young attorney and need business, and I tried again. And she refused to meet with me. But eventually she agreed to meet with me. And this is one of the greatest human beings that you'll ever meet in your life. As soon as I met her, we were working together, and unfortunately, you know, she was diagnosed with cancer. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, it impacted me and my family. And because my wife eventually, you know, was also diagnosed with cancer. And so just her going through, you know, cancer, she started a foundation that was called the Marie Louise Cancer Foundation. And just wanting to help marginalize specifically Caribbean Haitian women who were impacted with cancer. And then she eventually expanded to call the organization the Marie Louise Community Foundation to expend more into the community. And so last week she had a walk, which she's had for many years. And it's an honor to present this certificate of recognition to you, which states that certificate of recognition presented to Marie Kitley Said. It says, thank you for your dedicated years of service to the residents of Palm Beach County. For several years, you educated the Haitian American community about the prevention and treatment options for breast and cervical cancer. More importantly, you brought awareness about the crisis of the diseases and the dire need to allocate resources to marginalized communities. This is presented to you on this 8th day of October, 2024. Can everyone please stand up and give her a round of applause?
I am so honored to receive this certificate. In 2006, both my mom and myself were fighting cancer together. My mom lost the fight, but me, I'm still here fighting with breast cancer, fighting for women, Haitian women, Caribbean women, American women, any woman with breast cancer. No woman should go to breast cancer alone. And now, I'm more than ready to fight breast cancer. My daughter was diagnosed this year. We are still fighting. Thank you.
It's days like today where you recognize how many warriors there are in our room today and in our county and in our country. And another warrior, Wendell Haskins, can you come on up here? And I have a long list, so anybody in Wendell's family or friends who would like to join us up at the podium would be fabulous. Like myself, Wendell is a golfer. And what we are doing today is we are recognizing the 25th anniversary of the original Tee Golf Classic. Whereas in 1999, Wendell Haskins founded the original Tee Golf Classic to honor African American pioneers in golf and promote diverse participation in the game and business of golf. And whereas funds raised through the original Tee Golf Classic have provided significant charitable and educational resources to increase opportunities for young minorities to learn and participate in golf. And whereas Wendell J. Haskins has demonstrated leadership in using golf as a platform for social change and community development. And whereas Wendell J. Haskins created a space where people who appreciate quality, style, and tradition can come together and enjoy the game. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners, Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 8th day of October 24, that the board hereby recognizes the 25th anniversary of the original Tee Golf Classic. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As a 10-year resident of Palm Beach County, I'm a proud transplant from New York City to the wonderful Palm Beach County. And when I first got into the game of golf, I just wanted everyone to have the same opportunity. I didn't grow up playing golf. I took up golf as an adult. But as you know, being able to play at a young age is crucial, and it's something that we enjoy for a lifetime. So through this, I hope that I'm giving other people the opportunity to enjoy golf for a lifetime. Thank you.
Would Derek Hankerson please come forward? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much. this proclamation declaring October 2024 as Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Awareness Month. Whereas the Gullah Geechee people are descendants of enslaved Africans from several ethnicities in Central and West Africa, brought to the coastal areas of the lower Atlantic states starting in the 1500s. And whereas they developed expertise in agriculture, military, defense, horticulture, silviculture, irrigation, and animal husbandry. Their unique Creole language, delicious Southern cuisine, and creativity in arts, crafts, and music have contributed to forming a rich culture heritage. Among the many traditions passed down through generations are basket weaving and indigo dyeing. And whereas the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor, established through the National Heritage Areas Act of 2006, extends from the North Carolina south to Florida, with some descendants living in Palm Beach County. And whereas the corridor was created to call attention to the historic and cultural contributions of the Gullah Geechee people, and whereas the governors of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida declared the first Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Awareness Month in October 2013, and this year's theme is Celebrating the Gullah Geechee Living Legacy. And whereas freedom seekers, such as Haitians and the Gullah Geechee, and a significant number of free men of African descent from Saint-Domingue, now Haiti, fought in the American Revolutionary War, particularly in Pensacola, Florida, and in the siege of Savannah. And whereas the aim of this month is to increase awareness and understanding of the Gullah Geechee people, leading to a deeper appreciation of the significant contributions they have made to Florida and our nation. And our residents are encouraged to learn more about their history, culture, and traditions. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October 2024, that October 2024 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Gullah Geechee Culture Heritage Awareness Month. Congratulations.
Bonjour, qui journée hier, Derek Hankerson. We talk a lot about freedom and independence, and many times we only think of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, James Madison, but as Commissioner Bernard just stated, many of those freedom fighters, as Commissioner Marino was talking earlier, consisted of those of Haitian descent, to include Haitians fought in the American Revolution, to include, as a native of Chicago, Chicago was founded by a Haitian, DeSable. St. Augustine had its first black general, who's a native Haitian, Jorge Biasu, who served in the Second Spanish period. Toussaint Louverture decimated Napoleon's army so much so that Napoleon had to sell the Louisiana territory to Thomas Jefferson for $12 million. West Africans known as Gullah Geechee fought in the First Seminole War, defending this great and exceptional state known as La Florida. They served with the Spanish in the First and Second Seminole War. As president of the Loxahatchee Battlefield Preservationist Board, I'm honored to accept this proclamation with reference to those Gullah Geechee who served with the Spanish and Native Americans protecting Florida in the 15th, 16th, and 17th century against the British. I'm also honored as the Sea Community Liaison out of St. Johns County, Florida, to accept this wonderful proclamation for on December 7th, Saturday, December 7th, we're holding our 11th annual Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor Festival. The festival is significant because there are 3 cycling trails that connect to Armstrong and St. Johns County. One is the Sea Island Loop. The second is the East Coast Greenway, which extends from Bangor, Maine, all the way down to Key West. And the third is Rails to Trails, which I hope you all attend. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless America.
Commissioner Baxter.
While they take photos, I'd like to ask my 4-H students to join me, please. And anyone else who would like to. Good morning. We are here today declaring October 6th through the 12th, 2024, as National 4-H Week. Whereas October 6th to the 12th, 2024, is National 4-H Week in the United States, whereas in partnership with Palm Beach County, the Florida Co-op Extension Service conducts 4-H programs throughout the state Land Grant University, the University of Florida, and whereas 4-H is the nation's largest youth development and empowerment organization and reaches more than 6 million young people, with more than 26,000 youth ages 5 to 18 participating in Palm Beach County through community and after-school clubs as well as in school enrichment programs. Whereas youth in 4-H develop life skills along adult mentors through hands-on learning, service learning, competitive events, and leadership programs in the areas of science, technology, healthy living, and citizenship, contributing to their development of responsible, productive citizens. Whereas 4-H is committed to inclusion, diversity, equity, and access for all youth and brings opportunity and empowerment to children from all backgrounds. Whereas Palm Beach County 4-H will pilot the Barnyard Challengers program with the South Florida Fair to provide a safe and supportive space for youth with disabilities to learn poultry, showmanship, and use their knowledge and skills to participate in the competition. Whereas to encourage the discovery of 4-H opportunities for youth and the development of teens as leaders, Palm Beach County 4-H and its Teen Leadership Council will participate in a multi-county showcase teaching about plant science and the importance of agriculture. Through this showcase, youth and their families will learn more about the 4-H opportunities and the benefits of joining. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October 2024, that October 6th through the 12th, 2024, in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed National 4-H Week.
Good morning to the Board of County Commissioners and staff. My name is Everett Robertson. I'm 16 and a junior at Wellington High. Thank you to the County Commissioners for recognizing National 4-H Week and your continued support in the nation's largest youth development program. I'd like to share a few recent experiences that have helped me to develop leadership skills. In 2023, I was elected Vice President of the Palm Beach County 4-H Teen Council. In this volunteer role, I learned Robert's Rules for Order for conducting meetings. I co-led a hands-on science program on seed germination and a successful fundraiser for scholarships benefiting youth members. I also won a county and district public speaking event, and my speech on coral reef conservation earned me a certificate of merit in the state competition at the University of Florida. At the 4-H event, and in September, I was selected as District 13's delegate to the State Executive Board to plan future events like a mock legislature session at the Capitol. Additionally, as a teen ambassador for the 4-H Work Ready Florida Club, I represent teens across the state pursuing industry-recognized agricultural certifications. I was selected to represent the club at the Florida Farm Bureau meeting in Orlando last October, where I practiced networking with industry leaders. These are just some of the many positive experiences that I've had in 4-H, which are only possible because of the dedicated 4-H professionals, families, and partners. Thank you.
While they do their photo, I would like to call forward Dr. Ron Giddens and his wife, Mrs. Giddens, Doug Crane, Aurora Arthe, and Megan Bobb. Thank you for your service. Okay. Today, we are recognizing Dr. Ron Giddens for 44 years of service on the Library Advisory Board. Whereas the Palm Beach County Library Advisory Board was created with the Library Taxing District by state statute in 1967, and members serve in an advisory capacity to the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners. And whereas the Library Advisory Board is tasked with recommending the selection of the library director, reviewing library policies and programs, including budgetary requirements, and working with the director to improve and enhance service. And whereas in 1978, Ronald Giddens, Doctor of Optometry, was appointed to the Library Advisory Board, and aside from a 2-year gap, has served continuously, attending up to 10 board meetings every year. Whereas during his tenure, Dr. Giddens served as board chair 3 times, in 1979 to 81, 1998 to 99, and 2017 to 18. He assisted with the selection of 3 county library directors, served dozens of times on the budget subcommittee, and observed major changes to library service, including the introduction of computers, the internet, and 2 capital expansion programs. And whereas in 1992, Dr. Giddens supported the library and the county by standing with the Library Advisory Board to reject a challenge from neo-Nazi groups attempting to force the library to carry their publications. And whereas Dr. Giddens has routinely offered frank and insightful advice on matters before the Library Advisory Board, served as a role model for new board members, and fostered an atmosphere of professionalism and collegiality that contributed to open and productive meetings. And whereas, due to term limits, Dr. Giddens completed 44 years of service on the Library Advisory Board in September of 2024. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October 2024, that the board hereby recognizes Dr. Ron Giddens for 44 years of service on the Library Advisory Board.
I'm only 39. I don't know how this happened. Just think how far we've come in that length of time. We had one main office, a few branch offices. Now we have 17 branches, soon to be 18 with the opening of the Canyons branch. It's really a nice one, by the way. That's my library. And talking books, books by mail, large print books, bookmobile, lots of things going on. I've participated in hiring of 3 of the 4 directors in the history of the library board. So very proud of that. Thanks for the opportunity. By the way, I'm ready for a new assignment. Should you have one, especially interested in the airport committee, since I live on an airport out west there, Willis Glider Port, and you know where that is, I'm sure. So thanks a lot, and appreciate the honor. Thank you.
While they're taking pictures, Mrs. Pinto, would you please join me? I'm going to try to get through this without crying. I'm kidding. So today we are honoring the life of Mayor Fred Pinto. Whereas a native of Harlem, New York, Fred Pinto lived in the village of Royal Palm Beach for more than 25 years. He was elected to the Village of Royal Palm Beach Council, Group Number 4, in March 2003. Served as the vice mayor and was elected mayor in March of 2016, serving as the first Black person to hold the office. Whereas before living in the village with his family, Mayor Pinto served in the U.S. Army and had a career as a project manager and director for technology and investment companies. He was employed as an agency development manager for the Colonial Life and Accidental Insurance Company. Whereas Mayor Pinto was a longtime champion of the village of Royal Palm Beach, taking pride in projects such as the mixed-use development, Tuttle Royale, at the State Road 7 and Southern Boulevard, the renovation of Royal Palm Beach Village Hall, and ongoing expansion of the Recreation Center. Previously, also served constituents as aide to the former Palm Beach County Commissioner Jess Santa Maria. Whereas among Mayor Pinto's accomplishments were his support for contracting with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office for police services for the village of Royal Palm Beach and steering the village away from the water treatment business. Whereas he was the chairman of the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency and served with the agency when it was known as the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization, and was also on the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. Whereas Mayor Pinto was past president for the Palm Beach County Caucus of Black Elected Officials and Caribbean American. For community involvement in Florida Inc. and former member of the Palm Beach County Fair Housing and Equal Employment Board, he also served as the treasurer of the American Cancer Society Board of Directors for Palm Beach County, and was a past legislative advocacy chair for the American Cancer Society Relay for Life in Palm Beach County in the village of Royal Palm Beach. And whereas Mayor Pinto dedicated his life to serving others, and the impact he has had on the community will be long remembered. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October, 2024, the board is hereby honoring the life of Mayor Fred Pinto. Normally I would turn this over right now, but I'd like to say something. Over the past almost 2 years, the mayor and I got to know each other pretty well. He was an amazing person, an amazing mayor for the village of Royal Palm, and he did so much to make that community a better place. He put in the best parks, I would say, in some of all of Palm Beach County. He created a space for families and did all this with housing that reached all demographics, and also kept one of, if not the lowest millage rate in Palm Beach County. That is a feat, and he did an amazing job. So I want to thank you for supporting him through that journey, and I would like to let you say a few words now.
Thank you, everyone, and bless you for all you do for so many citizens in your communities and in your prospective places. We will continue his legacy, and that will be forthcoming. You will hear about it, and we just can't thank you enough for all of your support to him, and most of all to this county, to this state, and all of what you do is just, it's beyond words, and you may not get a thank you, but the citizens are so grateful for you, and as well as for our fire rescue and all the departments who service our citizens. We bless you, and we're here for you. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call forward Ivan Maldonado, Joanne Keller, Evan Henderson, and Todd Von Laren. Okay, we are declaring October 25th through November 2nd, 2024 as Mobility Week. Whereas Mobility Week is a cooperative effort by the Florida Department of Transportation, the Palm Beach County Planning Agency, Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners, and partner agencies to promote awareness of safe multimodal transportation choices by hosting an annual collection of outreach events. And whereas the week is an ideal time for counties, cities, and transportation agencies to highlight achievements, introduce new initiatives, or implement new policies promoting sustainable transportation. And whereas Mobility Week is an opportunity for individuals to explore various transportation choices available and consider how multimodal transportation reduces traffic congestion, benefits the environment, and improves community health. And whereas PalmTran provides approximately 28,500 rides each day to residents and visitors of Palm Beach County, and everyone can ride free for a day during Mobility Week using the promo code Mobility 2024 in their Paradise Pass app. And whereas the county will host a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the first protected bicycle lane implemented by the county on Sandsbury Way and Lyons Road from Forest Hill Boulevard to Okeechobee Boulevard, offering a low-stress bicycle facility to users of all ages and abilities. And whereas all the Palm Beach County Engineering and Public Works Departments' current and future thoroughfare road projects include shoulder or bike lanes and more than 711,000 linear feet of bike lanes, approximately 135 miles, have been striped since 2017. And whereas Mobility Week is consistent with Palm Beach TPA's vision to create a safe, efficient, and connected multimodal transportation system. And whereas Mobility Week is supported by the Palm Beach TPA through participation in transportation-focused events throughout Palm Beach County and all its municipalities. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October, 2024, that October 25th through November 2nd, 2024, in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Mobility Week. Thank you.
Thank you for this proclamation. As you just heard, Mobility Week is an opportunity for our residents and visitors to explore the various transportation choices available to them and to get to know more about Palm Beach County. This is also an opportunity to thank and recognize the amazing transportation staff that makes mobility possible each day. I would like to invite everyone to try any of our 31 fixed routes that provide reliable and efficient transportation to close to 13,000 riders each day. Please come and try the BusLink Mobility on Demand, where riders can get an $8 voucher to use Uber and Yellow Cab Taxi at various sections of Riviera Beach, Boca Raton, and Royal Palm Beach. Explore the newly created bus service that we provide now to Port St. Lucie through the Port St. Lucie Express, with 2 morning and 2 evening trips during weekdays. And if you would like to travel around the Glades, try our Go Glades Mobility on Demand. During Mobility Week, which is October 25th through November 2nd, we will be offering the promo code that the commissioner just mentioned for the Paradise Pass, and the promo code is basically Mobility 2024. You can purchase this card at any county library, Paradise Pass kiosk, the Palm Train Connection location at 50 South Military, or you can download the app by visiting www.myparadisepass.com. And for more information, call us at 561-841-4287 or visit us at www.palmtran.org. And thank you for your support of Palm Tran.
Commissioner Barnett.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do we have any Germans or German Americans in the room? Let's go. Well, if you couldn't tell, it is Oktoberfest season. And let me say congratulations to the American German Club, who has proudly served as a vibrant hub for cultural exchange and community engagement in our county for the past 50 years. This milestone celebrates not only the enduring legacy of German American traditions, but also the rich contributions of German heritage to our community. Each year, during the month of October, members outdo themselves in time and talent, presenting to the community an Oktoberfest for all to enjoy. You can enjoy authentic German food and entertainment brought directly from Germany since its inception. It is a privilege not only to represent the American German Club in District 3, but I also have the honor, again, to tap the beer keg at Oktoberfest.
Saturday.
This Saturday. Thank you. Yay. The club also hosts numerous events open to the public, including a German Christmas market in December, Sunday brunch, which is delicious, and you don't have to be German to join the club. It is my honor today to present this proclamation to the American German Club, and I think everybody's up here, but I also wanted to invite President Mark Luft, Gail Luft, Wally Reichert, Norm Braz, and Dagmar Braz.
And Danilo and Holgar.
Danilo and Hogar, welcome. I would like to read the proclamation. A proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, declaring the weekends of October 11th, 12th, 13th, and October 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2024, as Oktoberfest in Palm Beach County. Whereas the first German settlers brought German culture to America through a vast history of celebration and tradition, including the celebration of Oktoberfest. And whereas Oktoberfest is a traditional harvest time for celebration with feasting, drink, music, and dance, bringing Americans with German heritage together in fellowship and friendship. And whereas the Palm Beach County celebration of Oktoberfest has been sponsored by the American German Club of Palm Beaches on Lantana Road in Palm Beach County on the second and third weekends in October since 1974, marking this Oktoberfest as the golden 50th anniversary of Oktoberfest at the American German Club of the Palm Beaches. And whereas Palm Beach County has a long history of supporting local nonprofit organizations such as the American German Club, who have contributed to the education, growth, and development of cultural awareness of the diverse heritage, including that of German origin, of the residents of Palm Beach County, Florida. And whereas I, Commissioner Michael Barnett, will have the special honor of tapping the first traditional and celebratory golden keg on Saturday, October 12th, 2024. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 8th day of October 2024, that October 11th through the 13th and October 18th through the 20th, 2024 in Palm Beach County are hereby proclaimed the golden anniversary of Oktoberfest in Palm Beach County. Alles gut für das Oktoberfest.
Dankeschön, mein Herrn. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to say one more time, 50 years of us putting on a really good party on Lantana Road. You really shouldn't miss it. This coming weekend and the weekend after that, we actually fly in an authentic German band of over a dozen members to play for us, and we really have a great time. The German beer is German all the way. You got to be careful. It kicks you in the butt a lot more than a Budweiser will. So please get your tickets on Eventbrite. Parking is limited, even though we do have a lot, but we highly recommend Uber for those people that take a few more. Thank you so much for the honor.
All right, while they're taking their photograph, can I ask the men and women that are here from Fire Rescue for the fire prevention proclamation?
Onto the toilet.
Yeah, you hold this.
How are you, sir? I just want to say that I had the opportunity this weekend to join the men and women of Fire Rescue. They had an open house at their facility on Pike Road. Very well attended. They ran out of parking and hot dogs, I'm told. So you can tell that the support of the community of the men and women of Fire Rescue is pretty well bottomless here in Palm Beach County because of the great work you do. So it's a real honor to have you here with us this morning and being able to present this proclamation. We are declaring that October 6th through 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week in Palm Beach County. Whereas Palm Beach County is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our county, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally, nationally, and that homes are the location where people are at the greatest risk from fire. Whereas 40 years ago, homes burned slower because they were filled mostly with natural-made materials, giving occupants up to 17 minutes to escape a fire. Conversely, fires today burn much faster and more intensely because our homes are filled with consumer products made mostly of synthetic plastics and petroleum-based materials. And whereas 3 out of 5 home fire deaths result from fire in a home without working smoke alarms. Working smoke alarms cut that risk in half. And 40 years ago, on October 1st, 1984, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue was officially established. To this day, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue and fire and life safety educators and emergency responders have been dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and education. And whereas the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work For You, emphasizes the importance that smoke alarms must be installed, maintained, and functioning to effectively alert occupants of smoke with enough time for all occupants to evacuate safely. And all Palm Beach County residents are urged to install smoke alarms inside and outside of every room where people sleep, on the ceilings, above stairs, and in the main living rooms of the home to ensure early warning of smoke and the highest level of protection. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners assembled in regular session on this 8th day of October 2024 that October 6th through 12th, 2024 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Fire Prevention Week.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Weiss, Administrator Baker, thank you so much for your continued support. It was, just as the Commissioner mentioned, it was great to see everybody out there with the outpouring of support this weekend, and I would like to turn it over to our Fire Marshal, Dave DeRita, to say a few words.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mrs. Baker. First, let me assure you that with the number of uniformed personnel here, that we are in no way lacking protection during the hurricane. We don't, here doesn't represent 0.01 of the 1,800 personnel that are serving today. I don't think in my tenure here that I've witnessed a more profound proclamation presentation. I think that was amazing. First, the proclamation addresses Fire Prevention Week. So Chief Bryce, under his wisdom, formed, as was stated, in 1984. He brought in all the districts and all the little volunteer fire departments and some of the independent paid fire departments, brought them all together to create this. You know, we've had some changes and leadership moves up, and under Chief Dern, then we received it with Chief Kennedy, and we are in a progressive move forward. 51 fire stations with 2 waiting for CO, so Doug Weiss and I will get right on that, Mrs. Baker. 1,800 personnel. I have the privilege of handling 1,800 square miles of this county as the fire marshal. For Fire Prevention Week, we received a grant last year. Supervisor Brown is here, and she represents community education. She applied with Joe Gregory for a FEMA grant. We received it. We were able to purchase 1,500 combination smoke detector carbon monoxides. As Commissioner Weiss stated, you know, a couple decades ago, it was 10 plus minutes to get out of a house upon smoke detector alert. It's under 2 minutes currently. So that is a dramatic decrease. So, you know, realize that with response times at 5 to 6 minutes, they need to get out now before we get there. That being said, we have installed just under 800 smoke detectors on that grant this year into our western communities, Belglade, Pahokee, and South Bay, which is a desperate need for that type of safety. A fire marshal takes the loss of life due to fire at 0. Unfortunately, we're not there. So all fire marshals through the United States have a long road to go. I don't look at that as a success yet. We're trying. This team, the fire marshal doesn't do it alone, so this team represents a great stride in public education, especially for fire rescue. The other part of the proclamation is the 40th anniversary, and yes, it was very odd for a fire department to run out of food. Thank you for all that attended. It was an amazing event, and what that does for us, 40th anniversary. 40 years is not long for a fire department, but this department is stronger than any other in the country. We are leading in so many aspects of what we do because of the amount of personnel and our growth. So I want to thank you very much. We need to get back to hurricane preparedness, so I thank you all very much.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, they're like that.
Okay, let's talk environment, shall we? If I could have to come forward, Anya Gupta, FAU high school student, environmentalist, Shivana Gupta, the mother of Anya, and from the Coastal Stewards, if I could have Dr. Shelby Luce, Director of Marine Life Conservation, Neha Petrikin, Gabriela Castillo, Ann Parton. Also attending is Mark Burns, and maybe anybody from the FAU High School, either Mickey Zitzman or from the Henderson University School. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We talk about environment, and today is a very important time to reference our environment and our clean oceans. I'd like to say that what we're going to do today is something that is so important for our climate, and hopefully that we won't get even worse storms as we are experiencing. So let's declare October 14th as Palm Beach County E-Waste Day, because according to the World Health Organization, electronic waste is the fastest growing solid waste stream in the world. And these items contain toxic materials. We in Palm Beach County recognize the importance of protecting and preserving our natural resources and encouraging conscientious habits that will improve our climate. Whereas there has been a significant increase in the amount of recycling in Palm Beach County, but we have to focus on other electronic waste that is recycled or post-consumer electronic products and packaging. And whereas our local community leaders can help encourage recycling by informing citizens about the importance of buying recycled electronic products and expanding collection programs for recycling goods. Whereas investing in recycling can also have economic benefits from businesses by reducing the amount of waste sent to landfills, conserving energy and raw materials, and saving money on staff time. So we're going to celebrate International E-Waste Day on October 14th. And what I would like to especially recognize is our students who are doing this as a matter of course. And also, is Dr. Luce here? Are you Dr. Luce? If I may, prior to attending veterinarian school, Dr. Luce participated in a wild dolphin photo ID research. That must have been really cool. You follow the wild dolphins, and you also researched marine mammal stranding with subsequent rehabilitation efforts, along with sea turtle rescue response, giving you, Doctor, over 14 years of experience in marine animal conservation. I can't thank you enough and all your partners, and also encouraging our students to do the same. So let's hear it for declaring October 14th as Palm Beach County E-Waste Day. Would you like to say something, please?
Thank you, and thank you all for your support. We greatly appreciate it. We are the Coastal Stewards. If you haven't heard of us, we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to coastal conservation and protecting marine life, and we do that in a variety of ways. One is through our marine life conservation team, and so we're doing direct conservation work. We operate a sea turtle hospital out of the Gumbo Limbo Nature Center, and we also assist FWC and NOAA with manatee response, whether they're hit by a boat or entangled, and we do cetaceans, so your marine dolphins and whales response for their strandings as well. So that's directly, and we do invite you to come visit our sea turtle hospital, see our patients, and learn about their threats at the Gumbo Limbo Nature Center. We also do outreach, raising awareness, volunteer opportunities, so we really want you all to get involved. There are membership opportunities, so feel free to visit our website, www.thecoastalstewards.org, to see how you can get involved. But one of the other very important things I think we do as an organization is really help inspire our youth to help with conservation and become passionate about that. And so that's when I'm going to pass it over to Anya real quick, and she's really been a driving force in our e-waste collection initiative.
Wow, Dr. Shelby really said it all. But hi, my name is Anya. I'm 13 years old, and I'm a student at FAU High School. And I am the president of the Gumbo Limbo Coastal Stewards Youth Wave Makers Student Council. And so I think it's really important that the youth have a voice in our community, that the youth feel empowered to make a change, and they feel like they have a voice and they have a say in our community. And so through outreach and through e-waste collection events and through proclamations from various city and county mayors, we've kept over 1,500 pounds of e-waste from entering landfills and creating a toxic runoff that ends up in our oceans. So thank you, Mayor Sachs, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners for this proclamation to help us continue raising awareness about this issue that doesn't have as much awareness as it should.
Thank you. Quick picture right here. Okay. Here we go. Here's the boss here. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Okay, for our last proclamation, if I could have Edda and Cliff Viner come forward, and anybody else in your community, come on up. Whereas Edda and Cliff Viner Community Scholars Foundation was co-founded by Edda and Cliff Viner to participate for 4-year scholarships to students from 12 participating Palm Beach County high schools. They are now attending Florida's public colleges and universities. And whereas the scholarships are intended to cover all costs of college attendance, so students can graduate debt-free. The program currently has 140 diverse students attending Florida public colleges and universities, and you've trained more than 300 mentors. Each student is assigned a dedicated mentor for 4 years to ensure proper guidance throughout their college career, resulting in a graduation rate of approximately 95%. These are folks, ladies and gentlemen, who have put their time, their talent, and their treasure into helping the youth of today. Without any compensation for themselves, they have done everything that they get for the students, with a 95% graduation rate from colleges here in the state of Florida. So therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners in the 8th day of October 2024, that October 8th, 2024 is now declared by all the Board of the County Commissioners the Edna and Cliff Viner Community Scholarship Foundation Day. Congratulations, and thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Mayor Sachs. Thanks to all the commissioners. Thank you, Ms. Baker. We really appreciate the proclamation and the honor. We have a very unique program. It really is a 4-year financial assistance program so that do graduate debt-free. The mentorship program is so important in getting them to graduate. And we have over 20 social service agencies surrounding the students to make sure they and their families are taken care of during their college time. The key point is all of these students come from Palm Beach County, okay? So our Scholars Program and the student success in this program, that's our small way of trying to ensure that Palm Beach County and the future of Palm Beach County remains as magnificent so that Palm Beach County remains the magnificent place it is to work, to live, and to play. We thank you very, very much for the honor.
Okay, thank you very much for your patience. I always say this is the best part of the agenda. Now we could just adjourn and be happy for the rest of the day. But let's move on. I believe that we are now going to address the one item from the consent agenda, which is located on page 43 FF1. I think it was asked to be removed by Commissioner Baxter. You are recognized, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like, if possible, for staff to do, maybe kind of go over this and explain it a little bit to all of us.
You would like to have staff give us a report on this?
Correct.
Okay. Did they have notice that they were going to give a report on this, staff?
I think so.
I'm asking staff. Have you, sir? Very good. Okay, you're recognized.
Good morning, Mayor,
Good morning.
and
Good
Vice
morning.
Mayor, and
Could you
Commissioners.
identify everybody in the staff?
Yes, thank you. David Zamora, County Internal Auditor. Good morning, everyone. We have 3 items on the agenda today, and I could just give a high-level overview of each of those unless there's something in particular the board
Could you
wants to
speak
hear.
right into the microphone so everyone
Yes,
can hear you?
thank you. Of the 3 items, we have 2 completed audit reports and our annual risk assessment and work plan presented today. The first audit was on the Housing and Economic Development Department. We had an audit where we were wanting to determine how the grant management process was being operated and the full process from the pre-award to the award and the post-award phases. We wanted to look at and determine if there were adequate grant monitoring oversight in place for housing and economic development. For the pre-award, we concluded that yes, we did have adequate controls for grant monitoring and oversight. We did note some errors in calculations of the grant applications, but overall we did have adequate controls. As far as the award phase, we had some challenges sending out the proper annual certifications that confirm property ownership, and we concluded that there were not adequate oversight controls in place. And finally, the post-award, yes, we noted instances where we had adequate controls in place, but we noticed some minor issues where we had controls of inactive or employees that had been terminated where they were still able to or still had access to the system. Management has agreed with all of our findings and recommendations, and we have noted that revisions have been made to correct those income calculations. We have a new process as far as mailing out the ARC certifications as required, and they've promptly addressed the issues that we've identified. So we've accepted management's responses, and then we follow up at the end to make sure that corrective action has been made on all the items that we found. So that's just the high-level overview. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those on HED.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the recommendations that we had gone over was a recommendation for a software called Morningstar. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not.
So one of the things that we had heard was going to be implemented that was going to cost the county roughly $150,000 annually versus the B2G software, which roughly the SWA uses for a similar program. Or different, okay. So I got you. So I'll hold.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Weiss, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate your report. In looking at, in your report, you selected 60 mortgages, and that 17% of them had changes in ownership. And I would assume that's significant if we're the mortgage holder to not be notified.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand the question.
You're finding number 2 on page 5.
He's referring to your report.
Yes.
You have it
there? Yes.
Okay, good. So in there, you identified that you looked at 60 mortgages randomly, and and the division was unaware that 17% of them had name changes or ownership interests. And so, that seems significant to me, that since we are part of the mortgagee.
I am not following you, but I suppose what I could do is offer to look further into that question.
Jonathan's coming up. Maybe he can help clarify it.
Mr. Brown, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. So this finding was related.
Could you please identify yourself and your position?
Yes, ma'am. Jonathan Brown, Director, Housing and Economic Development. This particular finding was related to the annual resident certifications that we should be sending out to all of the just under 1,600 individuals that we're assisting. And what the auditor identified is that, well, there were some annual resident certifications that were not sent. And so I think that what there was sharing is that there's a potential concern that, people have changed, these units have been sold, and what we've conveyed is that we have a recorded mortgage and note. And so if our system isn't updated, if someone's going to sell a property, the title company who's going to be part of that transaction would actually ensure that the county gets its recognition and repayment if the property is going to be sold. Our internal records or internal Excel sheet did not necessarily reflect those 17% of those units.
Okay. But
we didn't lose anything again because, again, the title company is the last part of that process.
Okay.
Because we record mortgages, notes, and we record deed restrictions on properties.
Okay, I thought the clerk's office has, you can set yourself up to get an alert for them. Have you talked to them about maybe using that system to help keep you guys notified of what's going on?
I haven't. I'll chat with them. I know we get notifications with regards to list pendences and foreclosure notices from the attorney's office. So I'll check with the clerk's office on the other notifications.
I know it's something we can do, personally, for our own properties to keep ourselves aware if anybody was trying to make any change to the title.
Okay.
And so maybe that would be also another tool.
Yes,
to
sir.
help.
I'll look into that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I hear from the clerk's office, please?
That's correct. We do have that available for use.
Thank you.
Oh,
We'll
that
look
was
into
used,
that.
of course.
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
not.
We're not using that, but we'll have the conversations with the clerk's office about that system.
Is that system currently in place today, or, yes, it is in place, but you have not used it?
We have not used it. No.
And is there a reason that you have not used it up to now?
I wasn't aware of it until Commissioner just mentioned it.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Weiss.
It's something that really every property owner in Palm Beach County should take advantage of because it's a great service that they have.
Will you let all the commissioners know, Mr. Brown, that you are now using it, that process, and that it is in place?
We will work with the clerk's office so we can institute that on all of the county assistant properties. Right now, that list is about 1,600 properties, so that we've assisted through HED. So we'll work with them and see how that process works for those 1,600 properties.
And will you give us all notice, sir, that you're doing it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Jonathan, so the 1,600 mortgages, do you audit every one of them every year, or how does that work?
So what we were doing was trying to send them out all at one time a year. So you're looking at approximately 1,600 notices. What we did was adjust our process, and then we'll send them notices out on a monthly basis based on their monthly anniversary date, if I can use that. That process makes it easier, and now we're at a place where we are a little bit more stable in the staff that we have handling that process.
Okay, and so I guess what you could do is with the 1,600, you can just, tie it with the clerk of court, so in that way you would know exactly if the ownership is changed from the regular mortgage to a new borrower. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It'll help us too, because in some cases people may get married, so their names may change. It'll at least ensure we're notified of those changes and that our mortgages will appropriately reflect those if we have to modify those mortgages.
Now, what happens when the titles change from the county's loan? How does that work if they change the ownership while they have a loan with us?
Then we'll get paid back off at closing from whichever title company is handling the closing. And let's just say maybe it's a cash transaction, they don't use a closing. Our lien position is still there. So if another individual purchases that property, the county can then foreclose on them or collect its dollars, because that's why you do a title search before you purchase, so you can make sure that all liens are handled. So our lien position would be protected.
Now, what about if there's a quitclaim deed where there's no title search? So, because then there wouldn't be any satisfaction. So how would you handle that?
Again, because our lien position would still be there. So even if I quitclaim deed of the property from me to someone else, it doesn't remove the county's lien or the county's deed restriction that's currently on the property.
But
the only way that gets removed is if it's satisfied or through a foreclosure process.
But what if the new person who's now titled, it doesn't meet the potential workforce housing requirement or affordable housing requirement? How would you work that out?
They will be responsible to repay the county.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's amazing. So we could give advantage to one person, and then they could sell to someone else, And we, up to now, because we're going to remediate this, we would not know if that second purchaser qualifies for that type of mortgage relief that the county is giving. Is that correct?
Not correct, Mayor, and that's
Good.
why
Okay.
one of the things you won't see in the report is that there was an incident where property was sold and the county wasn't repaid. Because again, we have processes in place to ensure that you have recorded mortgages, notes, and a recorded deed restriction.
So that will not happen.
No, ma'am. And now, again, let me rephrase that. Is it possible that someone who doesn't do their due diligence, doesn't do a title search, want to be a cash buyer, could they just go in and do that? Sure. But that doesn't replace our restriction. They're going to still have to repay the county, or the county would still look at what other legal actions it has because our lien position is secure.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
One last question.
No,
Madam
go
Mayor.
right ahead, Mr. Bernard. Commissioner Bernard.
Mrs. Zamora, regarding, I guess you issued the corrective action for HED, is that correct?
So what happens is once we have an audit recommendation and the department notified us that, hey, we've corrected all of the issues identified, we go back out and do a follow-up project to confirm. We get evidence and tests to make sure that the issues that we identified get resolved. And the conditions that cause those are taken care of so they don't keep happening. So we have not done a follow-up yet. We were notified that all of those corrective actions and new measures are put in place, but we have to go out and assign a team and confirm that. It's hard to just, well, we trust that they are. We hope they are because we just want the condition to be corrected. So we will go back out and confirm, and then we issue a memo acknowledging that all items have been closed or corrective action has been taken, but we still have a little more work to do. Either way, if it's a partial completion, we give credit for what's been done, but we also want to confirm, because we're required, audit standards and best practices say you need to follow up on these open items, and so we will go back to verify that.
Just one last question. What's the time frame in terms of like the follow-up? Is that is that varies by department or?
It varies based on the timetable that the department gives us. If there are a number of items that take 3 or 4 months or 5 months, we look at when are the majority or most of those completed, and then we say that's a reasonable time. You know, we don't want to spend a year waiting for a PPM to get revised, but if it's a reasonable time, we come back after that happens. So it depends on the individual recommendations. Typically, I'll say an average is 4 to 5 months after the report is issued, the department has made corrective action, and we can come back and verify that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. If there are no other questions from the commissioners, do we have any cards? Commissioner Weiss. Okay, now we have Commissioner Baxter. Go right ahead.
There was another part of the audit, was there not?
There are 3 parts, I believe.
Yes, there were 3 items.
So are we going to handle these separately?
If you'd like to, Commissioner, it's up to you.
I figured if we did them all, could we do comment cards all at once? Or do you want to
Would
take
you like
them
to
3
speak after the
individually?
comment cards, or would you like to say something about the other 2 right now?
No, I guess I want to let him speak. I just don't know what would be the most efficient way.
Okay.
Up to you, Mayor.
Would you, sir, Mr. Zamora, would you like to speak on the other 2 items as well?
Yes, thank you.
At this time.
Thank
and
you.
I'm going to ask you to, I know all accountants, just auditors, you're very soft-spoken.
Right. Okay, thank you. The second part of our agenda item is the audit of the Office of Equal Business Opportunity.
Correct.
And just some background on this particular audit. This was a new ordinance. It was a result of an approval from the board back in 2018 and became effective as an ordinance in 2019. Internal audit identified this new ordinance as an opportunity to review that and make sure that ordinance gets implemented effectively. The ordinance does require annual reporting to the board, and when we first tried to audit the accuracy of this report, it had not been issued back in for any of the years for 2019, 20, 21, or 22. We did get the annual report in November of 2023, which was the first of the annual reportings. So after some time that our audit was suspended, the board did instruct internal audit to review that report. Is it accurate, and are we in compliance with the ordinance? The report that was submitted has three parts. It has our audit results, and we provided an appendix, which is the actual participation report that was submitted to the board in November. And then the third part is a response from the department. And that's important because the department's response gives their position of what they think of the report. It does acknowledge that there are differences in our report. It does concur with our recommendations, and it gives us a clear idea of what the corrective action will be so we can follow up on that. Our objectives for the Office of Business, the OEBO audit, was to look at the participation report and determine if it was accurate and reliable. We also wanted to review for compliance with all of the ordinance requirements. We did have a total of 9 audit findings and 18 recommendations. Typically what happens is when we have a finding, we will have a recommendation that addresses the condition and one that addresses the cause. So you can double the recommendations anytime you have findings, because we want to be sure what's causing that it gets resolved. Of those 9 findings and 18 recommendations, we provide some detail on, again, what's happening, why is it happening, and we reference the benchmarks or the participation report, the requirements of the ordinance, is that in compliance, and the consequences or the risks of having those conditions. Those are detailed in the audit report. As far as our conclusions, we have 3 potential outcomes when we conclude on an audit. Either there were adequate controls in place, or there were, except for some findings that we've noted, or there were not adequate controls in place. So we make this conclusion each time we do an audit to our objective. Our conclusions for the first objective regarding the accuracy and reliability was the OEBO department director did not ensure controls were in place to oversee an accurate and maintain an accurate and reliable reporting system. As a result of not having adequate controls in place, we were not able to determine if the report was accurate. We're not saying it wasn't, we're just saying we could not determine if it was. The second part of our conclusion was, did the OEBO director implement procedures to ensure compliance with the ordinance? And our conclusion was, did not. So this was for the period of January 2019 to September of 2022, so for the duration of the participation report. So I'd be happy to answer any
I have one
questions or
question for
comments.
you, if I could. When you realized that 2019, 2020, 2020 had not been submitted to your office, what, if anything, did you do?
So when we first, as I was an audit manager back then, and when we first discovered that there was no reporting, we worked with the department, and there was an effort to try and get some report out. And there were some challenges with that, so we suspended the audit and waited for a report to come out. And with the challenges they were having with the system and getting something accurate out, we just kept waiting and suspended the audit until there was something to look at. We finally got something to review in November of 23. So it just remained in a suspended status until we were able to come out.
What do you report to, sir?
I'm sorry?
You are. This was 3 years of reports.
Correct.
That had not been submitted.
Correct.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
and you suspended it. And then what, if anything, did you do as a result of those reports not being submitted to your office?
So at the time, the decision was made to allow the department to issue their first report, and that we would note in our audit when we finally conduct an audit. Since that didn't happen for a number of years, the updates get communicated to the audit committee, and we provide them in our quarterly report that says, here's the status of each of these audits. And I believe that's how I was up here last time, because it was the result of one of our quarterly reports that showed this audit was in a suspended mode, and I was called up to ask, well, what's going on here? And so we were reporting quarterly the continued suspension. Yes.
Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Just Mrs. Zamora, when was the first audit due to? When was the first? I guess when they were supposed to submit the first report to us.
Right. So the mandate is to submit at least annually to the board, and so the ordinance became effective in 2019. So it would be annually after that became effective.
So in 2020, just want to make sure, like, what effort did the office do to get the report, and then for you to audit it, and then for your office to submit that to us? So now we would know what's the status of the OEBO.
So when we first got the participation report submitted to the board in November, we engaged the audit to.
No, I'm talking about in 2020. Like, so they're supposed to submit something in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, like, so what did the office do in 2020 to notify us that, hey, they have not submitted the report, and we should be made aware of that?
Right. To my knowledge, and I think it's something the board had made a comment on a previous meeting, that it would have been helpful to get updates each year if there was challenges with the computer system that had constraints, if there were concerns of submitting an accurate report, and that's why the reports weren't submitted. I think the board would have liked to hear that, and I'm not sure they had any input from the department. I mean, I believe staff may be here
I'm
if
just
they
saying
want to.
from the auditor's perspective, I understand the department is required to submit a report, and you're supposed to audit it. Mm-hmm. And kind of like, I just want to know, what did your office do to make us to be aware of it in 2020 and in 2021? And then because I want to know your efforts.
Yes.
And then so
Yes.
in that way, that will help us.
That's fair. Yes, I think under back then when we were experiencing no.
Let me ask you a question. I know you weren't the director then,
Right.
so I think that I don't want to put it on you, because that's you weren't the director at that time. So if you can kind of like help us understand, like, what's the process to notify us if a department is not submitting a report that you need to do your audit?
Yes, thank you. I think what we should have done is issue a report when we first discovered that there was no participation submitted to the board. We should have issued an audit report, and that should have gone the same route through the audit committee and then eventually receive and file to the board. I think we decided at the time, the office decided that we would wait and just report that fact when we actually received the report. But addition to that, we do submit in our quarterly reports to the audit committee the status of our audits, and that continued to be on each quarterly report showing what's the update, where are we at, and then those quarterly reports get submitted to the board as well.
Okay. And from the Did you submit to the audit review committee that they weren't providing the reports to you?
Yes, we were, and that became of just each quarter. What's the update? What's the status now? And it was pretty much the same status for a number of quarters until we got a report to look at.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Bernard. Vice Mayor Marino, you're recognized.
Just as a follow-up, I believe there was a board directive several months ago that was, the question asked was, per our ordinances, when a new ordinance is put in place or an existing ordinance is already in place, there are reporting requirements. And I think what is lacking is that when an ordinance is put in place, the reporting requirements aren't sent out and said, you need to be receiving a report at X time. And I'm looking at our attorney because I know that Denise had put something together, but at the end of the day, if we have an ordinance and it has a reporting requirement, the people that are to get that report need to know that there's a requirement in the ordinance.
Yeah, and I was just a little bit concerned because I don't believe EBO ordinance said that the report would go directly to the auditor. And it may be that the direction of this board is that the auditor needs to look at those reports, the reports of the reports due, and the board would determine from that what they want the auditor to look at, or that they want the auditor to report to the board when something isn't being done. The way it's written right now is that the annual report was to go to the board, and obviously it didn't happen. The annual report was not to go to the auditor, so it had to be something the audit department asked for. So there may be some direction needed from the board to the auditor as to your expectations for reviewing these annual reports or new ordinances, et cetera.
So what you're saying is that the auditor would not have known that the report wasn't done?
That's correct.
The direction should have come from the board?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
I know you want to say something, sir. Go
Yes,
right ahead.
if I could provide just some additional comments
Sure,
on that.
that's why you're here.
Anytime we conduct a risk assessment, we identify what are the major risks in the county that the Office of Internal Audit should focus on. And when we identified the new ordinance back in the early part in 2018, 2019, we said this is a new ordinance. That's just the same as any other requirement that has compliance issues. So while the ordinance is written to submit the report to the board, that is something that we could review as a part of our audit. And so compliance is one of the three main areas that we look at. And so when we first identified that as a new ordinance as a result of that risk assessment and said, hey, there's a new ordinance out here. Let's review to make sure this gets implemented effectively. And so although it wasn't a report to be issued to the auditors, it was to the board, but we want to make sure that the department was doing an effective implementation.
Okay, so what has happened as a result of all of this is something good. And I want to make sure that you, as a checks and balances, independent of any department or the Board of County Commissioners, will review issues that should be audited before they even come here to the board. So we have that extra layer of responsibility for you and protection for those departments who may or may not have submitted reports. Do we need a vote on this to give him that authority or not, Ms. County Attorney?
No, I think what I'm hearing from the board is that you're looking for a proactive approach on the part of the auditor. That we understand you weren't here at the time, but that certainly you wouldn't be waiting for 3 years before you brought something to the board's attention. If something's not happening, you would be coming to the board and bringing a timely report. So I think the direction of the board is fine.
We're going to be adding to your responsibilities. Do we need a vote on it? No, this is.
It's not adding. This is the responsibility of the auditor.
There's nobody more important to the integrity of this process than an internal auditor. So we want to make sure that from this day forward, that you review these, either the omissions or commissions of reports coming in from departments into the board. Do we need to do anything else on this before? I'm going to turn to Commissioner Baxter because she brought it up, but I'm looking at legally for this process.
No, I think we're very clear. This is just as the board being the supervisory body that the auditor reports directly to, the board is giving instructions that they want to be timely informed of omissions or commissions, and that they just want the auditor to be proactive.
Very good, thank you. Vice Mayor Marino.
As a follow-up then, the board directive of what reports are due can be then sent to the auditor, so he will have that information. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. I know we have, does anybody else wish to speak on this item number 2, the OEBO?
Madam
Commissioner
Mayor,
Bernard.
Thank you very much. I guess, Mrs. Zamora, just want to make sure, how does the administration provide you more of a list that shows the reporting that are due, so in that way you're made aware of that? I'm just trying to figure out, is there a way to do a spreadsheet, or I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way for us to move forward, to know, for you to know exactly, okay, well, you know what, OEBO's got this report that needs to be done annually, or HED, so in that way you're provided that, and then so in that way you can kind of like proactively make that audit risk assessment.
Thank you.
Let me just interrupt you for just a minute. Ms. Baker.
I was simply going to follow up that we do meet with not only the new auditor, but the old auditor as well on an annual basis. He meets with them, with my ACAs, as well as department heads. He has not, we happen to meet in one of the other ACA meetings, but I've met with other auditors, and they do a risk assessment. It's like, where do you have concerns? So we tell them. And normally, if we're aware of something, we will ask them to go in and look at it. And that's how they develop. They then determine what's high risk, what's moderate, what's low, and then they decide which department, without coming back to us, that they're going to audit. That goes to his audit committee, it's my understanding, and then they approve their plan for the year. And what we attempt to do when we're doing this is make sure that the internal auditor, the external auditor, as well as the IG, that we don't have them all in one department at the same time. And so we try to coordinate those particular efforts.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. I think Commissioner Bernard, were you speaking?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, I just want to make sure that we need to be able to compile a list of all of the reports that are due, and for administration to be able to provide that to the internal auditor, and then so in that way he would know whether or not those reports are being done, and then he can submit those reports to us, or not, or he can do his audit report just to make sure. That's what I would like to figure out. How can we do that?
You should have, as an internal auditor, all the reports that you should review, that you in your job description should review before it goes anywhere else. So let me ask you this: are there any departments that you do not review, sir?
So each department that's under the umbrella of the BCC is a department that we can potentially audit.
No, not that you can potentially audit, but that you do or do not audit. What we all, I think, want to do is to make sure that we know that you're auditing everything. Okay? I mean, at least those items that come under the internal audit review as a check and balance.
I'm not sure how practical that is, but I looked to the administrator earlier because I thought that there was a method that the county uses to compile all the requirements, the ordinance requirements? If there's not, yes, we should establish some sort of database of all the reporting requirements for all the ordinances for the departments, so that we could have a list to say, these are all requirements, and incorporate that into our risk assessment. I'm not sure if the county does anything like that, but it certainly is a good advice to compile that list that we could have as part of our risk assessment.
Okay, I think we were with Commissioner Bernard.
Yeah, if it's possible, County Attorney, if there's a way that, I think probably, I don't know how you can assist us with administration.
We had at one time done a list of all the reports based on all the ordinances. We actually went through MuniCode, the county attorney's office, and compiled a spreadsheet that had all the reports. And I think this board was just talking about having the auditor confirm that the reports that were due were actually submitted, not auditing them all, just confirming that they were done, and then following up if you didn't see one. So I think that's what we were talking about. I think that administration was also working on some electronic solution. I don't know if that has been completed yet, but there is a list of reports right now, and there may be an electronic list of reports that may even be more complete. But that is something that we can certainly provide.
Very good. Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Ms. Baker, you want to respond?
That is correct. ISS was putting together a database of information that was received from the county attorney's office. So that database should be there and ready. We can absolutely share it.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Baker. Vice Mayor Marino, and then Commissioner Baxter and Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. So going back to the board directive of the reporting requirements, basically all we're asking is that you all, the three hires that the Board of County Commissioners has, the attorney, the auditor, and the county administrator, you all need to talk to each other. We all need to know that the reports have been submitted. Now, auditing the reports and submitting the reports are two totally different things. We're not asking for an audit of all the reports. We are asking that we are made aware if a report is submitted or not submitted. At that point in time, we can ask for an auditing of the report. But if there are 47 reports due once a month and times that by 12, you can't possibly audit all of that. Our job here as a Board of County Commissioners is to make sure that the ordinances are fulfilled and that the reports are issued and that we get the reports, the auditor gets the reports, you all get the reports, but we have to know that the ordinances are being done as they are required. So it's not about auditing every report. It's about making sure that the reports were received. And we get copies of those. We can read them. If there's something in them that brings up a question, then we can then say to the auditor, we would like you to further review this. So I think that probably, I think we're done with that one. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Were you finished reviewing this section?
Yes, as far as the OEBO audit, yes, I went over the objectives and the conclusions that we had, yes.
So a few questions I had. When you asked for the reports, what was the response?
When we first engaged the audit and asked for the reports, the department communicated the challenges in the circumstances that are leading to not being able to provide a report, which included a system that had some constraints, and so we were just given that communication that, hey, we don't have one yet, and here's why. So,
what were some of those challenges and circumstances?
One of the, and I think staff could probably better speak to this, but the system, the reporting system that they were using to compile the information had some constraints that didn't allow them to compile a report.
And this was mentioned prior to you being the auditor?
This all happened, yes. About 3 years ago is when we first tried to audit this report. So when we were notified that there isn't a report, then we suspended the audit until there was one.
And there was no corrective actions 3 years ago to take if there were constraints to the system?
I think the department continued to work on getting a report out. Again, they could probably speak better to why that didn't happen for 4 years, but I think the efforts were to get a report out, and then we finally did get one in November of '23.
What were the financial impacts of this not being followed properly? Potential financial impacts?
Not exactly certain of financial impacts, but I can tell you that some of the effects of not reporting or not having an accurate or reliable report can affect confidence that we are operating an effective, or we are implementing an ordinance effectively. And this particular ordinance was to ensure equal opportunity with the county in the procurement process. And so by not having a report to say are we meeting our goals, or what's the progress of this program, there may be some issues with confidence in an effective reporting.
Mr. Zamora, so on one of the report that we received, it says, so what were the supporting details? What amount didn't match the annual report?
The report showed differences, and the large amount that it was a large amount of $6.6 million different than what difference in reporting. But I want to be clear, because that amount is over a 4-year period, and so each year in total it's actually probably less than 1% difference. So we're talking about a large amount. So while 6.6 million sounds like a lot, again, it's over a 4-year period, and each year, if you compare that, it's really not material, as it is. It's about 1%.
I disagree that 6.6 million isn't a lot, but we'll leave that there for now. So what controls are we looking at now going forward, that we've had this lack of following an ordinance, we've had potential financial impacts of not having reporting done properly? What's the solution?
If I could have, I'm sorry, if I could hear from our county attorney on that issue.
I just wanted to supplement the response about the effects of not reporting accurately. This was a very specific ordinance that was based on documentation and disparities that were verified by an independent consultant. It was and is really important that we keep accurate statistics to justify and demonstrate going forward that the methodology that the expert laid out for us is actually working to remedy the defects. So there are reasons why it is important that these statistics are accurate.
May I, Mayor?
Hold on just 1 second. I know Ms. Baker wants to speak. If you don't mind, Commissioner Baxter. Administrator Baker?
I do agree. When we speak to $1.1 billion being expended, and the difference between the percentages that should have been allocated between SMWBE equated to less than 1% off, I agree, every dollar counts. And we want to make sure that our reporting is accurate. I believe that when the auditors came in, people were leaving the office, et cetera. No excuse, but human errors do occur. When they were looking for the backup documentation to support what was in the system, a segment of it was taken out because it was either exempt or non-exempt, one or the other. And so they didn't, which the auditor recommended, you have a cutoff date, which we have implemented. Anytime you are dealing with the books, if you go in and run the report at a particular time and you don't have a cutoff, people go in, they may change it for whatever various reasons. And so they did not submit additional backup equating to the 6.6 million. The backup is there. It is submitted. It was submitted to the auditor, and he informed us that when he comes back, his office comes back for follow-up, they will then verify that information. So $6.6 million is a lot when I'm trying to balance the budget. However, when we look at the comparison, those dollars were not lost. They were not totally unaccounted for. They were unaccounted for during the time frame they should have been accounted for and the auditor was looking for, but we have that information.
Mayor, if I may, I have
No,
several.
the floor is yours.
Administrator Baker, how are we certain without proper reporting that those dollars were not lost?
Because the actual expenditure of the funds between the department, invoice department, the individuals that are supposed to sign off on their Schedule 4, they will contact you if they're not paid. And so we have not, I'm not aware, I'm only aware of something that was recently made aware of on a couple of Saturdays ago. But other than that, I have not heard. And in the past, we actually had some subs that would come forward. They're very hesitant to come forward. When we're looking at the numbers, the department is also responsible when they submit the invoice. If they know in that particular case, there should be an SMWBE attached to the next invoice, then they'll be looking for the Schedule 4. So we are and have accounted for that, where sometimes it's backlogged, that's no excuse, but we're also short-staffed, and that we will be looking at that. We've already put measures in place. I have worked hand-in-hand with my IT department. We've modified how the departments put things in and clearly identify where Schedule 2s are found, where Schedule 4s are found. Schedule 3s are also submitted. This board was gracious enough to give us funds to buy a new software. And so that software we actually piggyback off a national contract with that others have used, which is the B2G. And both parties have now signed it. It's coming in. And a lot of this will also be corrected because it will be the vendor that then puts all of this information into the system.
So we are going with B2G?
Yes, we are.
And also, I wanted to follow up on that. Why now? Why, I mean, if we knew reports because of an inadequate software were not being filed for the past 3 or 4 years, why now are we able to find this information that couldn't be located before?
I'm not aware that it could not have been located before.
They weren't turning in reports, were they not? And that was the excuse.
It was, I guess the ISS was working, and I know no one wants to hear this, but there was a period in time after the first year that we did have to address COVID, and the department, along with ISS, turned their efforts toward making sure that we created portals that people could go in, we could keep small business afloat, and to also expend those federal dollars within a timely manner. That's just the facts of what it was. That's still no excuse. We understand that, and we believe currently our in-house system can do the reporting. This board wanted us to move more toward a software that was being utilized with solid waste because you were comfortable with that. We were able to move forward with that, and we have B2G, the contract signed, so we'll be working with them in order to make the appropriate training. And some of it is also training because we had a lot of people, especially right after COVID, that left our departments. And we got new people coming in, and we need to do a better job at training.
And what other corrective actions have been taken?
Well, right now, we've actually moved forward with starting to ensure that training is occurring, as I stated, with ISS requiring that the schedules be uploaded, and that is one that they don't have a choice. We're going to make sure that that occurs. They can't move forward. We're also working on reports. I will have assistant county administrators who will be assigned to oversee the department, ensuring that the quarterly reports and the semi-annual report as well as the annual report is now verified. I will also be working with OFMB. Mrs. Brown will be working very, very closely. She has also been assigned to be the county's liaison, as I served for almost 15 years, with the internal auditor on all departments. So I have one person to look at when it comes to audits with the departments.
Thank you, Administrator. And my next question is for the county attorney. What, you had said there could be ramifications. What were some of the ramifications if these reports were not done accurately?
Well, obviously, I am going to be a little bit cautious responding to you because this could open up areas of interest.
So you're saying we could be sued?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner Baxter, at this time, or not that you can't
I'm
speak
going to let
later?
some of my other commissioners.
Okay, you got some
questions
other lights.
Take enough time. Thank
That's
you.
very true. Commissioner Weiss, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to withhold I have questions, but I'm going to withhold those until after I hear from the public on this, because we've got 17 cards.
All right. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Just one last question before, I know we have comment cards, so I guess what I'm trying to find out is, are we using the current software or the B2G software?
We're using our current software that will produce the results that B2G will produce. But until we get B2G on board, we need to continue inputting the data into our existing system so that we can keep track of what's going on until the new program is implemented and properly trained.
When did this board give you like the direction to move with the software with B2G?
It was during the budget process.
During the budget process?
Yes, sir.
Like when is that? When was that?
Do you remember?
May.
April,
May was when we submitted some.
May of this
Okay.
year.
So we're in October, and we've given you direction to go with a different software because we have zero trust in the software that you're using. But you're still using your garbage software. That's not providing us the information. I don't understand like how long it's going to take for you to shift the software, because we've been in Solid Waste Authority, we've had the software for years. And we've given you direction, and you're still using this software.
Who are you directing that question to, Commissioner? To staff or to
no,
Ms. Baker?
I guess that's my comment.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right, that's
I
out to the
will,
world.
let's get
That's
some
okay.
comment cards. I'm good.
Okay, then we'll hold up. Okay. Commissioner Baxter, did you want to wait till after the comment cards?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right, Commissioner Weiss and Vice Mayor with the time schedule. I know it's a tough job. Someone's got to do it. Okay, we have a number of cards. When we state your name, there'll be 4 names called, 2 in one podium and 2 in the other. If you don't proceed to the podiums when your names are called, you'll be put off to another day. Go ahead, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. All right, we'll start with Ann McNeil, followed by Ida Baez, followed by Darren Chan, and Louis Valderrama.
Very good, ma'am. Good morning, you're recognized.
Good morning. My name is Ann McNeil, and my address is 1450 North Mangonia Drive in West Palm Beach. First, I want to just thank all of you, especially Commissioner Baxter, for your interest in this subject. I also want to state that I've been in the construction industry now as the first Black female contractor in our state of Florida, operating at the level that we do, over 45 years, born and raised here in this county. And for many years, I've had to drive out of the county in order to work. And recently, in the last few years, I've been able to work here. So everything that you're discussing today, I think is what they say, all things do work together for good. And I believe that in this business, and what you're doing is going to help support increasing Black, minority, women-owned participation for the county. But on behalf of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, which I'm the founder, I just wanted to come and give a vote of support to Tanya Davis Johnson and her office and all that they've done. I sat on that board for many years, and I do know a little bit about the subject in that a period of time when I sat on the board for the small business office, we did have issues with software, with the programs that we're currently discussing. And I'm no longer on that board. I just wanted to just mention that this day is necessary in preparation also as we get ready for the disparity study that's coming up. So I just wanted to just give a vote of support on our behalf for what you're doing and also for her and her office. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Sir, you're recognized. State your name.
Good morning. My name is Louis Valderrama with Anatom Construction. I'm considered a small certified small business with opportunity of equal business opportunity. I'm sorry, Office of Equal Business Opportunity, OEBO. I've been certified for over a decade, and as a small business in construction, it's been an integral part of our business. Truth be told, within the first years of certification, I was not aware as all of the support and contribution that they actually have. In the last 4 years, I've actually been a very big advocate. 1, 2, anything that they do, I would support, because a lot of my growth in the last 4 or 5 years has been because of them. 33% of this year's revenue has come from the support of a lot of the work that they have done in the past, and I think it's very important to recognize that. I'm not too sure about the audit and the type of rigorous, thorough reports that they're required, but I do know from where I stand that it is a rigorous progress on our end, and we are to submit a lot of information, and there's a lot of communication that goes back and forth within that. So although the reporting is not there, I'm sure that it will come through, and however we could do to support that, we'll be there to support them. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, state your name. You're recognized.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. My name is Ida Baez. I am one of the owners for Accord Engineering, a 3-year engineering firm. When we started our company, we were suggested that we should become SBE certified, being that we're a small minority women-owned business. We reached out to the office of OEBO, and they were very supportive. It's a rigorous process. So standing here today, listening to the logistical process between the department and the commissioner's office and the county, I understand that's a little bit, part of the business, but I'm here to testify that their efforts to bring a company such as ours is only 3 years old, and thus far we have already been sitting in 2 county projects. It's increased our people are aware of who we are, even though we were only 3 years old, and we're growing exponentially because of that certification, because bigger companies come to us, put us in their projects without really knowing us as an engineer or as a company. And now that we have been in projects for the county, and we have stepped up, we've shown good work, our opportunities have grown exponentially. So that's due to the efforts that the office has put in the county, serving the county and small businesses such as ours. So I just wanted to testify about that and let you know that they're doing a great job from that end. And let's work together, and you guys can figure that out.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Sir, Come state your name, you're recognized.
Mayor, Board of Commissioners, thank you very much to the opportunity to address you. My name is Darren Chan. I'm a co-owner of a small minority business. We've been established here for going on 6 years in Palm Beach County. We've been certified with the county for the last 2 years, and what I would like to, my testament today is to communicate my appreciation, but not only that, to highlight the impact that the OEBO has made for my company. In the last 2 years, we've had the opportunity, and I think that key word as a small business, which reflects on the office, is just the opportunity to participate in 4 bids. And out of the 4, we've become one of the secondary suppliers to them. So that just highlights on the actual opportunity. One of the things that has actually gone on in your discussion was the rigorous oversight that you've done for the office. And as the last 2 speakers have said, that has filtered down, because as a business owner myself, the process that we go through to become certified forces us as small businesses to become better, right? To perform better. This has a far-reaching impact not only within the county economy, but also on the private sector. And that is where I'd like to turn an attention to the impact that the OEBO has made in terms of the private sector also for me. In the last year, we managed to secure, through one of the events, a strategic partnership with one of the sponsors for an OEBO event. Through that sponsorship, we were able to secure a major contract with an out-of-state company coming out of New York. That opportunity led to a contract which we successfully completed, and now we're in talks to not only do more work within the county, but Florida, and they've invited us to go out of state also. So we're very appreciative of that. That project also allowed us to not only foster the platform that the OEBO gives us, we were able to bring in subcontractors. These are other small Palm Beach County subcontractors into that one contract, which gave us the opportunity to become almost like the primes. That is just out of that. We were currently in the process now of bidding on 3 other county projects. So that is just the straight impact that they've given to us. I wanted to round it off by saying within my company we have also a small R&D section. At the last event, we got in contact through one of the workshops about future funding, and as of last week we were admitted into the Florida Small Business Development Center at FAU, or what they call the Tech Series. Okay, and this is all coming out of the opportunities given to us by the OEBO. I wanted to round this off by saying, with a quote, yes, Isaac Einstein made the comment, "If I have sinned further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." Right?
Beautiful. Thank you so much,
You're
sir.
familiar with that, and that is what the OEBO gives us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Well spoken. Commissioner Weiss, 4 names.
We will have Tom, and I apologize if I slaughter this, but looks like it's Jacobson, Ramona Ray, Dwayne Randolph, and Margaret Gauchelin.
I don't see 2 folks over here, but I think I will soon. Very good, sir. State your name, you're recognized.
Good morning, Tom Jacobison.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. 436 Cresta Circle, West Palm Beach. I am not a minority or small business enterprise. I represent Wharton Smith. I'm an area manager, and we've had the great opportunity to work with the OEBO and all the members and what they do for us. What they allowed us to do is to meet people like Dwayne and Remine and Lebelo and Anna Tom, who spoke a minute ago. But so before I go into that, I'd like to thank Ms. Baker for what you said about, it may not be an excuse or a reason, but reminding us all of the pandemic and the pandemonium in the years 20 and 21. A lot of things got lost and mixed up back then. But also I'm thankful and grateful that because of today you guys are now going to implement a new procedure that says, hey, we need a whole list. Who needs to report? Did the report get missed? Or even an advance notification, your report's coming up in 3 months, and so make sure you get it in. So there's those things that are coming out of this today, but essentially I really just want to say that the OEBO department, and I've been working with them for 6 years now, they've given us a great, as a prime contractor, a great opportunity to meet other contractors and bring them into what we do. And they give us advantages. They help us see things in a different light too. So it's not just primes bringing in SBEs, but they have their all the things that they've done in their history that bring great value to what the construction companies do and the engineering companies do and all the others that the OEBL sponsors. So with that said, I'd just like to say that I think Tanya Davis Johnson and our team are doing a great job, and we should recognize that and then just go forward with making a few things better.
Thank you very much for that, sir. Ma'am, good morning. You're recognized. State your name.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Margaret Gashelin, residing at 800 Northwest 169th Street, Miami Gardens. I am here to show my support for the OEBO and all of the opportunities that it does provide for general contractors like myself. I am a first-generation general contractor and small business owner. And while I don't have the benefit of generations that came before me doing the work that I do have the benefit of organizations such as the OEBO that affords us the opportunity to participate and be at the table and be a part of the growth in the construction industry. The work that they are doing is work that is very much so needed for organizations and companies like myself who are seeking opportunities to participate. We have the opportunities to grow our communities, small businesses, and create jobs. And I want to show our support for offices like the OEBO that allow small businesses to take part in large projects that we may not otherwise be afforded the opportunity to. So while I know that there is progress being made, there is still work to be done, but we must not delay in our support for the organizations such as these that allow us to continue to grow as small businesses, that allow us to give back to our communities and create jobs. So we ask that you will continue to support, just as you have, the Office of the OEBO and organizations that continue to do the work for minorities in construction, for small businesses in the construction industry and small businesses in all industries. So I thank you again for your support, and I encourage you to continue to extend that support to our organizations as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning. State your name.
Good morning. I'm Remine Ray. I'm one of the principals of Randolph Construction Group. Thank you all so much for this opportunity for us to speak. My introduction into the construction industry was years ago, and one of my first events I was able to attend was the Matchmakers event, which I thought was very beneficial, especially somebody new into the industry those many years ago. I had the privilege of meeting Tanya Davis Johnson along with Alan and along with Deidre Kyle, who's our specialist. What they promised then is what they're doing even today, and they promise to be a support as they engage, and along the way they have definitely been that. All of the comments that were made I can echo, and I just jot down just a couple of things. There's good in this program. There's great in this program. There are useful components in the program that are assisting small minority women-owned businesses. They've been a resource, an advocate, an information center, and also a roadmap to us. So I'm just thankful. OEBO program, I can say definitely has not only been a tool for success for us, but a tool for sustainability. Thank you all.
Thank you so much also for your business. Good morning, sir. State your name.
Yes, good morning. My name is Dwayne Randolph with the Randolph Construction Group. And I want to kind of tailor my comments this morning surrounding, if you will, my personal journey. You know, as a general contractor, I've been in business now 27 years. And I can remember back in late 1999, early 2000s, as we were starting out. At that time, I believe the program was under a different name at that time. And we were, you know, coming into, you know, this industry with the thought of, you know, hey, you know, there's an opportunity over here that we can now partner with a lot of the prime CMs on those. And we did that. We had some success, both getting projects and some without getting projects. But for the ones or the projects that we did get, during that time, the program had no teeth in it at all. And it was in a situation where we were fighting for our lives month to month, trying to get paid from the CMs, the CM prime contractors. And you know, I just got a bit discouraged during that time, and I walked away from the program, and I said, you know, this is not even worth it, the fight here. And some years later, the program was changed to OEBO, and Tanya Davis Johnson took over. And she would literally call me every 2 weeks. Mr. Randolph, are you going to bid? Mr. Randolph, are you, joining in on any of these major projects that we have going? Are you participating? And I shared with her at that particular moment and in time, and I said, Tanya, let me explain to you my experience and what I had when I went through in the early 2000s with this program. And I explained that to her in greater detail. And her response to me was, I can assure you that you will not have that same experience under this program with my leadership. And she still continued to call, and it took me a while to get back to the place where I actually came back and started doing work. We actually started bidding. We started doing some partnerships, if you will, again. And the few times that we have had problems going forward, there's never been a time that I have not called their office and they didn't deliver or get on the prime contractor and say, listen, you're not going to do that this way. Because they were, trying to find every other reasons as to why we weren't getting the work or why we couldn't do the work, if you will. And so based out of that, their office, there's two things we're looking at here. And I hear everything that's being said, and I understand the audit and what it represents and the efficacy of that, what an audit does, if you will. But there's another side to this that I don't think that you all have measured, because there's two sides to every story. And what should happen is there should be an audit, if you will, of everyone who's in this particular program. And I guarantee you that you would see a very different side of it if you had both sides of the story to be able to weigh what the efficacy of what their number says, and also what we are telling you, everyone is telling you here today, of how wonderful the program is.
Thank you very much
so
for
we
your testimony. Thank you, sir. Could we have 4 more names?
Yes, we're going to start with Margaret Anglin, Tina White, Karen Bauman, and Dwight Stevenson.
Okay, come on up. If you're not here, we'll see you another day. Ma'am, good morning. State your name. You're recognized.
Good morning, Margaret Anglin, and I am the owner of Mr. Wireman Electric. And it was really important for me this morning to be here because as a woman in the construction industry, it is very difficult to get started. I've been on this track now for 26 years, and I'm only got certified in 2012. And it is through this program that I was able to overcome many of the hurdles that I had in starting my business. I struggled before that, but because of the Office of Small Business, and I'm always screwing those letters up, so I'm gonna leave them alone. But because of their office, and I, as Dwayne stated before, the constant call, I get calls like, I don't see your name anywhere. Why are you not participating? What can we do to help you to participate? And it's only because of their office why the opportunities that I now participate in, the bottom line that I'm able to have because of the opportunities that they were able to expose me to. So I am here today to extend a sincere support for the office and what they do and how they are diligently working towards helping small business. And I'm going to take it one step further and say women-owned business. They are doing a tremendous job in making sure that at least we have a seat at the table to hear about these things. And I put it out there this morning, yes, there may be things that needs to be fixed, but I think that you should, again, look at both sides of the coin about the benefits that they are providing for small businesses. Small businesses is the backbone of all the communities. And if they're not there to help us when we're falling, and we don't have anywhere to go to say, hey, this and this is happening to me on these platforms, then I think that we'd be doing ourselves a great injustice in not supporting the office. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. You're recognized. State your name.
My name is Karen Bowman. I'm head of Street Art Revolution. We're a public...
Microphone a little bit lower.
Okay,
There you
sorry about that. My name is Karen Bowman. I am the head of Street Art Revolution. We are a public art company that specializes in doing public art with an emphasis on doing culturally sensitive artwork. We worked in various cities, and we happen to be a participant in this program. The program has brought a lot of benefits to us, from the private sector in particular. The certification process is rigorous and has opened the doors for many opportunities for us. One thing I want to emphasize that so many have said here, that the staff is just fantastic. They're very wonderful, very supportive, and although there has been an issue with reporting, the work is being done. You are getting your money's worth out of her staff. They're just fantastic. And I just want you to continue to support this program because you are setting the tone throughout the county for equity in business. And it's extremely important. Many of the cities, when they hear I have the certification, it's just automatic for me to be included in their programs. So please continue to refine, improve, but don't get rid of this program. It has power within it to help people reach equity and economic development for all people here in Palm Beach County. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning.
Good
State your
morning.
name,
My name
please.
is Tina White, and I am a resident in Riviera Beach. I was actually the lobbyist that lobbied the county commissioners to fund the disparity study. So it's very important to me. I don't think that there is a non-commitment to keep the program. For me, though, my experience has not been the same as the others before you. I don't think my business have had any opportunities for growth. I'm a tire dealer. I am the only woman in Palm Beach County that has ever had a contract with Michelin tires, with the manufacturer. But I make all of my money outside of the county, outside of the state of Florida, and that should not be the case. I have been at about $100,000 in tire business with the county for the last 5 years, but the county spends over $1 million or more for tires. I don't get any calls that say, hey, are you going to bid? I don't get any calls that say these contracts are coming up. So in terms of my experience on a commodity side, I don't find that the office has been successful in helping me to grow my business. I don't think they understand my business model, and I don't think they understand how to debundle the tire contracts. And that is also the same thing with PalmTran. I sell to the MARTA in Atlanta, their buses, but I don't sell to Palm Beach County buses. So there's something fundamentally concerning for me. I'm also sell the EV chargers and do the installation of the EV chargers. I don't get any support. I don't get any forecasting. I don't get the calls. When my certification actually was first submitted, I was the first one to submit in January of 2019. It was denied. I had to appeal it through the law office here of the county because they said, well, you're a broker, you're not a tire dealer, even though I had an executed contract with Michelin. And so it took the law office to explain what that means. So I don't think that the office, in terms of what I do, I can only speak from my personal experience, understand the business world as it relates to tires and EV chargers. And so I don't know how many other people may have had that experience and just walk away. I've literally walked away for about 3 years because I was just too frustrated. And why should I keep fighting, trying to do business in the county I live and work in? And I'm a homestead taxpayer for 20 years. I've just taken my business to other states that have welcomed me, and their offices understand how to help my business grow.
Thank you so much.
So that's my story. I want the program to continue. It's an important program, and I don't think the commissioners are just trying to decide whether to keep the program, but I don't get the help I need.
Will you mind staying afterwards, and maybe we can put you in contact with the
Oh, I
office so they
have
can-
their contact. I speak to them regularly. It's not a lack of not contacting.
We need those Michelin tires, we need those EV
Yeah, I
chargers
speak to
as
them
well.
very regularly.
And I'll
And
look into it with
thank you, I appreciate it.
Make sure, okay, we have your contact. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, you're recognized. State your name.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dwight Stevenson. I live at 4785 Tree Fern Drive, Delray Beach. A little bit more about myself and my company and stuff. We've been in business for 32 years. We employ like a little bit less than 50 people. We're general contractors. We've been doing work with a lot of the individuals in the room here and stuff, and we just finished up Grand Canyon Library there. It was a $24 million project, and we finished it up successfully and stuff. We're very proud of that. And some of the team members on that job was Randolph, a Total Construction Solution was on that, but then Randolph as well as TCS, we did another project together, which was the Homeless Resource Center. It's something that we're very, very proud of. We've been able to grow our company, and the Office of has been very, very supportive, the Minority Office, and Ms. Johnson in particular, as well as Ms. Deidre and other people in that office. But without them bringing us together on relationships, it just made it easier for us and stuff. So we like to see them continue. They've been great, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Commissioner Bernard.
Yes, Mr. Stevenson, I was told that you're like a Chiefs fan.
Chief?
Kansas City? We talking Kansas
No, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, and always will be a Miami Dolphin fan. And I hope I'm amongst some Miami Dolphin fans in here. Go Dolphins. Thank you.
Listen, if you were a Dolphin player, we certainly could use some help today. Okay? I don't want to speak badly about anybody on the team, but we could use you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
My question was for Mr. Stevenson.
Sir, come on up again, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thank you
Hi.
for being here today. Just a
Thank
quick
you.
question. How did you find out this was coming up on the agenda?
You know, just trying to keep my ear to the ground, but I think a friend of mine told me about it. And so we wanted to come down and support it. This program is very, very important to the minority community. And so we want to protect it and keep it going and everything. So I did find out from a friend. Yes.
Absolutely understand that. Would you be willing to share your friend's name? All right. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr.
Brown
Stevenson.
Electrical Solution. She's a great partner in the industry for us and stuff. Thank you.
Okay, next is Dinah Stevenson, Ryan Dobson, Randy Lobolo, and Bruce Lewis.
Are those the last four, Commissioner?
Got
White?
one more.
Okay, he's going to call five. He's going to call one more.
Keena Brown. would be
Okay,
the last
very
one.
good. Okay, we got the clock taken care of by Commissioner. Very good. All right. Good morning. You're recognized.
Morning.
State your name.
I think it's almost afternoon, but
Don't
nice
even
to
go
be
there,
here.
right.
So, I'm Dinah Stevenson, co-founder of D. Stevenson Construction. We've been around, he said 32 years, but almost 33 years. You know, the programs like the Office of Equal Business Opportunity has tremendously helped us because as we started out, we were very small, but these programs helped us to continue to get work, continue to build, and so we were able to now be, you know, we're not a large contractor, but we're good-sized contractors. So I think I'm just so appreciative of what these programs have done, and I'm here to say we're all in, we're supporting the programs and what they do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, state your name. You're recognized.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Ryan Dobson. I am the owner of TSC, a small general contractor, and I've been operating in Palm Beach County for over 10 years. I became certified in 2018. And since then, we have experienced significant growth in terms of employees, number of projects we undertake, and the size of those projects. And currently, we are partnering over 6 county projects, 2 of them which we recently completed with Mr. Miami Dolphins, D. Stevenson, the Canyon Branch Library located in Boynton Beach, and the Homeless Resource Center located on Lake Worth, and some of you guys saw at that ribbon cutting. The guidance we've received from the OEBO has been invaluable, and we look forward to continuing our support for Ms. Davis Johnson, Ms. Kyle, and the entire OEBO staff. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, state your name. You're recognized.
Keena Brown with Brown Electrical Solutions. Oh, my husband. Two quick things. Ms. Baxter asked who invited Dwight Stevenson. It would be me. We're electrical contractors, subcontractors, and the staff there, I must apologize for my annoyance. I call every day. Literally, if I miss a day, it's the next day, because we're eager to continue to grow our company as a subcontractor. I sometimes feel as though the program is tiered more towards the primes. I love you guys, but I tell them that I want to see more of an active role for subcontractors, and I don't want to see this program go away. So I was phone calling and nagging different people. The program itself, if you listen to the mission statement, it says, the mission of the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunity is to promote the inclusion of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the county. Procurement process, and I just want to add, small subcontractors as well. And just to keep in mind, you mentioned, Ms. Baker mentioned that COVID was not relevant. Well, as an excuse, it was not an excuse for business owners. A lot of companies tanked during COVID because they could not come back up, especially when the county's like, hey, the prices are the prices. You may have bid it during COVID. You got to suffer through the project, although everything excelled and was inflated. I do think there's always room for improvement. I will say that the auditor brought up some numbers and different things. I know the amount of paperwork we have to sign when committing to a project. That Schedule 2 is like a contract. I don't know how anything could fall between the crack between the Schedule 2, Schedule 4s, and all the different documents you have to sign. Again, I'm always gonna be candid. I always, like Dwayne Randolph mentioned, an audit to us. We would like to share our stories to you guys or to whomever wants to listen. Sometimes it's hard as a subcontractor because if you get up here, you say the wrong thing about a certain organization or a certain group of people, you can get blackballed in this industry, and that's not what our end goal is. But we do want to see the program continue. We do know there's always room for improvement. Thank you for the new software, and hopefully we'll get started using it. But again, audit us. We're important. We know what we want to see. We know how far the program can go, and we're excited to see what the next couple of years holds for each organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Sir, state your name. You're recognized.
Yes, good morning. Bruce Lewis, proud business owner of LB Limited and Associates Public Relations and Communications. Been in business for 34 years here in the county, certified for 30 of those years. I want to try to change the narrative a little bit because being a part of all three disparity studies, I know how important it is to be in compliance, and I know how important it is to you as sitting commissioners to be accountable, and I think that's what you're just trying to get a measure of and kind of tighten up on here today. And more than anything else, measurable outcomes, because that proves what the program is all about. And in the spirit of the small business program, all the work that the small business division has done over the years, 30-something years, as a matter of fact, it's second to none. I can tell you stories, success stories from now until noon, but I don't want to do that. I want to talk a little bit about how important it is to be accountable. I've been on projects, some pretty high-profile projects here in the county: historic courthouse, the convention center, Mox Planck, Scripps, the convention center hotel, and currently with the one penny surtax program management that you have going on with your capital improvement projects. But more than anything else, I think it's very important for you to understand that the Business Matchmaker Conference has been going on for 18 years. And in the spirit of this program, it complements what the program is actually doing. We bring together the Palm Beach partners, which are the Palm Beach County divisions, OEBO, PBI, Palm Tran, Solid Waste Authority, South Florida Water Management District, the School District, TED Center, and the City of West Palm Beach, all in one place to congregate with all these small and larger businesses in the spirit of making deals. And this year in particular, we honored 8 small businesses in various categories for their excellence in government contracting. So there's no doubt in my mind that the program works. I think what we really are saying here today is that we need to tighten up the reporting mechanisms, accountability, and the outcomes that are measurable, both statistically, financially, and humanistically. You're hearing all this, these wonderful stories from people today. And so I stand true testimony and an example. I could probably be the poster boy, if you will, for the program, because I've been very successful with it, but not only that, helped to stand up other small businesses by way of co-producing the Palm Beach Business Matchmaker Conference and Expo. And that's my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, sir. Good morning, sir. State your name. You're recognized.
Good morning to all. My name is Randy Levelo. I'm the owner of Levelo Construction, and I've been a resident of Palm Beach County since July 4th, 1999. And I'm here in full support to Ms. Tanya Johnson's and the OEBO program. My first job, second job, third job, fourth job, fifth job was all due to the efforts of the OEBO. When I got here to this country, it took me 2 years, and I knocked on everybody's door, can I get a job? I'm a civil engineer. I work hard. Nope, you can't. You've never done it. You're not from here. If it wasn't for this program, companies like mine would not be a success. Started with a pair of shoes. Today, 33 employees, 31 live in Palm Beach County. Due to that, sometimes you get a call in life and says, what is it that you're here for? And I find it myself, what is it that I want to do? Through this program and their efforts, I found myself creating an organization called the ECOT Level of Pay It Forward organization, where I pay it forward. And that's what I do all day long, which is train small businesses. Through that effort, the company that we selected 2 years ago have received over $4.5 million worth of work, another SBE. The whole program in my company, even we do run a very large now private sector, our average of small business inclusive of the private program is over 18.5% a year. $6.5 million worth of work to the small businesses within my company itself. These programs work. They give a lot of opportunities to companies like us, to people like us that never had a chance, would never had a chance. The support that they give us is unsurmountable, and I'm pretty sure that large businesses would love us to go away. But we're not going to go away. We need it. We need these programs for all of us. Again, thank you. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to working with you in making this better program. Fantastic. We're here for you. Thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you for the Office of Opportunity for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We have no further cards, but we do have some non-speaking cards.
Yeah, we have some two non-speaking cards, one from Bobby Tony and one from Jeanette Gordon. Both are in support of the program and will be added to the record.
Very good. Thank you very much, Commissioner Weiss. Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just would like to say something I heard over and over again was the rigorous application process that our businesses go through, and how they were all in agreement that the process made them better. And I think that it's important we hold ourselves to the same standard. And it seems like the program has a certain level of success that's reaching into the department, but that's not continuing to us. And part of the audit is to make sure that we are getting the reporting. If there's any inefficiencies, those can be addressed. The ordinance is being followed. That's the important part of having an audit. And I think, we've had a number of discussions on this ordinance, and I think it's made it better. We've made a number of tweaks, including, recently we, had graduating firms that were, had reached a higher threshold of business, and they were taken off of contracts. We've addressed that. So having these discussions has made this ordinance better. We need to continue to do that. But the rigorous process that the business owners go through is just the start. We have to do the same thing ourselves, which means our reporting, all of what has been discussed, we have to tighten this up. And that was the purpose of the audit. That was the purpose of this discussion. I look forward to hearing how all of these findings have been addressed and that we'll see how it is moving forward. But we can't expect our small business owners to do something that we're not doing ourselves. And I think that this should be a good wake-up call for us, that we can do better, and that we will, and that the public should know that, and that it will also garner more trust in the program for other businesses that are out there, anyone who would look to use what we're doing as an example. We have to tighten this up, and I look forward to hearing in the future how all of this will be addressed.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Woodward. Commissioner Baxter?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So a couple things. In my office, we receive phone calls. I received emails from residents who haven't been as successful in applying to this program, and literally a nightmare for them. So why are we able to sit in a room full of people praising the program and yet not hear from all the people who have a lot of complaints about the process and in being able to get into the program? And the reason I asked why or how someone heard about this being on the agenda was because I wanted to know, how did they hear? So if they're actively in the program, is somebody from the county reaching out and calling them and asking them to come say how amazing it is? Would be a question. And so I'm just curious, because there's a lot of unheard residents that didn't get that same phone call to say, hey, this is on the agenda. I would like you to come speak about your experience with trying to get this certification. And I've had several in my district with that phone call, and we had one here today who literally sells tires. And it was a similar problem, actually. My resident, the very first one I heard from, was actually had a problem with the program not understanding their business as well and getting certified. So there are some problems that are unfortunately unrepresented here today. I would like to see that corrected, and I would like to see a less objective process for people getting into that program. Also, I would like to know if there are favorites, right? Are we picking and choosing who to call upon? I mean, someone here speaking and saying, oh, I didn't get that phone call. Like, who decides who the favorite is? Who gets those phone calls? And why is the director calling people to come in over and over again? That's, I'll leave that one where that is. We can hear from both sides, but people have to know about this. And if we audited every single person in the program, of course they're going to love it. They're making money on it. That's a no-brainer. So we need to stay truly well-rounded and well-informed about the issues with the program, not just hearing from the people who are successful in it. So auditing everyone already in the program doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, because it doesn't represent all the people who've had their own problems. So I'm going to leave that where it is, but I do want better reporting. I do want to hear when reports are not being sent in, and I want to get accurate numbers going forward. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Baxter. Commissioner Weiss, and then Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you, Mayor. So going back, and I appreciate hearing from all the folks that came in today, but I want to focus back on the audit that's in front of us and the recommendations. I'm not sure who can answer this question, but this is regarding, we're manually reconciling two different systems. Is that going to end?
Are you addressing that to the staff?
I'm asking, I guess.
Of the program? Ma'am, come on up and state your name and your position, please.
Tanya Davis-Johnson, Director of the Office of Equal Business Opportunity. Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the board, Administrator Baker. So to answer your question, will there be a need for reconciliation of the information that comes from Advantage into whatever system we are using at the time? Yes.
I'm wondering if we're going to end up still having two separate systems
No, what we will have is until B2G is fully up and operational, ECMS will continue to run.
Right.
And after it is up and running, tested, verified, ECMS will then go away. The reporting system will solely be the B2G system.
So we're not going to have to go between what's in the clerks and what's in your ECMS?
No, not what's in, it will be what's from the clerk and what's now going into B2G.
But are you going to have to then put the two of them, still continue to put them, manually put them together?
Let me make sure I understand your question. Are you asking me, Commissioner, when the new system is in place, will there still need to be a reconciliation of the data that is shared?
No, that's not my question.
Okay.
My question is, after you upgrade to the new software, are you all gonna need to manually reconcile two different systems together?
Okay, Archie is the IT.
Thank you.
It's not really an IT question. Archie Satchel, ISS Director. Good morning, everyone. No, so what's going to happen, the Advantage system is a system of record for payments to the prime. That still has to stay that way. To interface to the B2G system, there has to be records that's interfaced to B2G, and then the reporting is done out of B2G. But you still have to reconcile that what was brought into B2G was what Advantage has. So there's still going to be some reconciliation there. Now, can we automate that somewhere? Yes, we can, but I have to be very careful to open an internal system to an external vendor. But we'll look and see how much we can automate that. But more likely, those two systems still need to be reconciled.
I understand there's a reconciliation that needs to go on, but I also know that this has not been done automatically, and then it's been done in a manual fashion.
No, it's been done now. There's reporting. The reports come from both systems. So the reporting that it's done out of
but what
ECMS now is automated. It's not a manual.
So are we gonna be inputting things twice? Are you telling me then still?
No, I don't think so. Not knowing what the B2G system is, it sounds like all the process with the Schedule 2, Schedule 4s, Schedule 3s will be done into the B2G system by the subs that we're trying to reconcile. And then all we're going to do is feed the Advantage payments to B2G, and so they can take care of that.
Okay, all right, thank you. And that leads me to Schedule 2s, 4s, and I guess 3s. How are those being done? Are those paper?
It's uploaded, yes, sir.
Can't that be done? Can't you create an electronic form to do this?
We have tried that many times for the subs to do that. It's just paper right now, so hopefully when it moves to this, I don't know if it's going to be automated or not.
I cannot support us continuing down this path with paper.
Absolutely not.
This needs to be an electronic form that people can certify. We certify. I do my tax returns, for goodness sakes, to the federal government, and I'm able to do that electronically and certify to them. For goodness sakes, in 2024, it's almost 2025, we can do better.
Well, Commissioner, at least with the Schedule 4, we have an option for electronic submission of that document. Now, of course, the Schedule 2 is submitted with a bid, which is a paper submittal right now.
That should be electronic too.
When that goes electronic, then yes, I would agree that the electronic form for the Schedule 2 could at least
Probably
be
said
submitted.
the wrong word to me. All right. I think those are, obviously this audit pointed out some deficiencies, primarily in the area of reporting that we had going on. So I appreciate you all doing that work. I think going forward, also the direction we gave earlier about getting notification of whether reports are not being submitted in a timely fashion, that is required under our ordinance, and having your office assist us with that is going to be beneficial to us. I'm comfortable now asking that we make a motion to receive and file item 3FF 1A and B.
A second.
I have a question on that, Commissioner Weiss. You brought up some interesting points. When we do a receive and file, I want to make sure that these points or any other points brought out by other commissioners are part of that. We've been through over an hour of testimony, pro and con, and we see deficiencies in this department. It's not funny. It needs to be corrected, or we'll find someone else to do it. So when you make your motion, Commissioner Weiss, I'd like for you to indicate exactly what points they need to, they need to correct on that receive and file. And you brought them out very, very well with regard to the not using paper and making sure that it is done in a transparent way online. Did you want to make that as part of your receive and file, sir?
Well, I think we created a record. We've given direction on how we want our auditor to move forward with us. As it relates to the deficiencies that the report has identified, there's a response from each one from OEBO, and they're going to go back. Then the auditor will go back and re-audit them to ensure that in fact they're complying with what they've been directed to do. So I'm comfortable with that. But I think what's in front of us right now, and if somebody wants to make an additional motion, but what's in front of us on this item is that we're going to receive and file the complete report that we received from the auditor. That's his September quarterly report. And then also his work plan going forward for 2025, which is part of that report.
I'd like to recognize the attorney and then Commissioner Bernard. Ms. Kaufman?
Just a question to be clear. Did the board want there to be a project for the administrator to make sure that the reporting is going to be electronic from now on, that the forms and that sort of thing?
We have actually started already. It's still going to be paper submitted from the prime and then the sub. It will be uploaded, which is being done today by the department into the system. We are readily identifying Schedule 2 and Schedule 4 that's in the system, ECMS. That was a change we made the other night. So yes, we'll be automating as much as possible before we move to B2G. And once we move to B2G, it is my understanding that it will be the prime that will be submitting this information into a system. And so that way, all of the forms are there and they're automated.
I guess that answers the question. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Mrs. Zamora, I know earlier I'd asked you, in terms of HED, you said it would take you about 4 or 5 months to go back to make sure that all of your recommendations have been adopted. Since you've made, I believe, 18 recommendations here, what's a time frame for you that you would be comfortable? So in that way, we can give you the direction on, when do you go back to make sure all these recommendations are being followed?
Yes, thank you. What we normally do is, based on the corrective action plan that the department has provided us in their response, we go back after that. We're anticipating the end of the year because we've been notified that there have been corrective actions for all of our recommendations and it's been implemented. And again, I'm hoping that's the case, but we're going to go back to verify that. So I believe there's some training that still needs to take place that we're anticipating will be done by the end of December. And so the end of the year, beginning of next year is a time frame. Now, again, that's going to be depending on the new system because our first audit was for the time period 2019 to 2022. We're not going to go back and re-audit that. We already know the control deficiencies there. We're going to look at the new system, what controls and measures are in place to correct what we've seen in the past that will lead to an accurate and reliable reporting system, and that that will lead to compliance with the ordinance. So if those things are all in place, as we are being notified that the department has addressed all of those, we'll go back at the end of the year, beginning of 2025, and assign a project. And again, we're going to go through each of the recommendations to look at what was the corrective action taken and are the causes resolved. And we're only going to confirm or clear that if we can verify that. Otherwise, it just leads to an open item that will be pending. But if we're going to have a new system, it may depend on when that system's implemented, if we could test those controls.
Just real quick, for 2024, I think for auditing for 2024, it still would be under this system. Would that be correct?
If I understand your question, since our audit scope was 19 to 22, potentially anything after that period would include the corrective actions that the department had made. So we could look at any reporting after that, because it doesn't make sense to look at the same one and kind of figure out what led to that. That's over. We want to see controls in place to know in the future we have accurate and reporting. And it's important not to minimize the importance of the reporting, because the purpose is to report on the implementation and the progress that we're meeting the goals and objectives of this ordinance. So it's important to know. And what I wanted to also assure, and I tried to make each commissioner individually know, that when we have a report of an audit, those things that make the audit report are significant. If it's not significant and just needs tightened up, we'll communicate that separately. So we do have some significant differences, and I want to assure that any time in the future that happens, those get communicated either to each commissioner to help them understand what the significance is. So there's a lot of things that could just be receive and file, and they're normal tightening them of policies or procedures. But when something significant happens, I want to give an assurance that will be communicated. And
now, lastly, Madam Mayor, since you said within 4 to 5 months, what if we, as part of this, we say within 6 months, you get a chance to go back and look at some of these corrective action plans? Would that work for you in your office?
It works for us. It really all depends on what has been completed, and if we're going to be able to conclude on that. Because if we have that particular constraint, then we may end up in a situation where we have to conclude on it and to say it's still in progress, and that doesn't really give us a whole lot.
But I think that I think that that's important for us.
Okay.
If we can do within a 6-month period, so in that way you can see what are the what's been addressed, and then so in that way, 6 months you can provide us a report that says, hey, these are the things that's been addressed, and these are the things that are in progress that can still be worked on. At least this board would know how to move forward.
I agree.
Madam
Yes.
Mayor, would you support the 6 months?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think what I'd like to do, and I think it's a good suggestion, Commissioner Bernard, let me call on Commissioners Baxter and Vice Mayor Marino. Then we can wrap this up in one little bow. All right? Go ahead,
I'll make
Commissioner Baxter.
Mine quick. So thank you, Mayor. I just had a question. What is a good time frame, do you think, to expect the full implementation of B2G?
Professionally, not knowing the system, there's training for the staff. There's going to be training for the subs. There's going to be so much training that they have to go through. The quality control that you have to do when you implement a system like this. We have to make sure we can test the interfaces. So that itself could take longer than 6 months to get that implemented, not knowing the details of the system.
We approved this back in May, and you've already had, or April-ish, May, you've already had 6 months.
You approved it through the budget process. So the dollars were not available until October 1. Staff started looking at, and of course, the board didn't specifically say you got to use B2G. You told us you liked what solid waste did. Staff went through the process of looking at others. I made the call that we're going to go with B2G because it had the elements that we needed. The board was comfortable with it. In addition to other large counties very similar to us are now using it. So that's where we are. And so that should be wrapping up soon. The contract has been signed, I am aware of.
But also, just to interrupt, it's a vendor implemented system. I'm not implementing B2G. They're going to implement their system. We're going to work with them to do whatever interfaces that we can get them. So it's their time. It's got to be that vendor's timeline. And they got to come with that timeline of implementation, quality assurance, user acceptance, training, And there's multiple training with the county employees and county departments and the industry as a whole.
Archie, but in your
it's there.
professional opinion, should 6 months be enough time?
I think it may take longer than 6 months, in
So
my
we're
opinion.
already in a terrible reporting system, and you want longer than 6 months?
But you got to make sure it's done right. That's all. We got to ensure
I'm not
it's done
saying
right.
it shouldn't be done right, absolutely, but 6 months to implement.
Ms. Baker, go ahead, respond.
If you, Commissioner, what I will do is today have staff, and I will be involved in it, get with B2G, because they've inked the contract, so we're now on the contract, and get a schedule from them, which includes the training aspect of it. And we'll make that a priority for our departments to be available, all of their staff that will handle the system. But it is also my understanding that the vendors put a lot of this information in. So we will also need to work with our vendors to make sure that they're properly trained as well.
I mean, can you give us an update on that time frame before the end of the year?
We will give you an update on the time frame as soon as we speak with B2G and get a time frame from them. So yes.
Thank you.
Very good, all right. Vice Mayor Marino, you can bring it home?
I am. Probably not going to like what I have to say, but yes, I will. Receive and file, fine. But this is just endemic of a bigger picture of the failure of this program. And when you have a report that's 18 pages for the housing and it's 55 pages for OEBO with all of the discussions, this is not Tanya's program, by the way. All of you folks, this is not Tanya's program. This is the county's program. And you all can sit down. This has been in existence in some form or fashion since 1991. And I have other reports from Joe Bergeron that show reporting for this department is lacking and has been lacking since the mid-2000s. So if reporting is a problem, and it's a constant problem, that's on us to figure that out. But it's also on the department to say, you know, we can't do this right. These are the things we need. I'm not happy with where we are. I thank the auditor for doing this work. It is his job to bring these things to our attention. It's the auditor's job also to make sure there's checks and balances in place in the county. And we can't, you know, it's tough when you want to do a receive and file, because then all of a sudden, this actually came from your receive and file several months ago when I pulled this from the agenda. I don't like the way this program runs. I don't like, and Commissioner Baxter, thank you for your question about how specific folks knew to be here today, because I had that same question. It is not a pick and choose program. This is supposed to be a program for all of the small minority businesses, women, Black, Hispanic, you name it. That's not what I've heard that's happened. That's not the feedback I've gotten from small and large business. So I, for one, am not actually happy with how this program is running. I'm not happy with the culture in the OEBO department. And we cannot hire and fire in that department. That is not our job. Our job is, again, what I said, the three folks that are here right now. You three folks need to meet on a regular basis, not just once a year, because what's going on today shouldn't be happening. And yeah, I'm not a happy camper right now, but I think we've said enough to let you know how we feel about this program. Is it necessary? Obviously, some form or fashion of this program is, because it's been here for a long time before we were here, and probably after we'll be gone. But it needs to be run better. And folks need to know they have an opportunity in our county. We are a county of opportunity, but this program needs to be run better. The reporting needs to be done better. The culture in that department needs to be better. Thank you.
Okay, we have a receive and file on the floor and we have a second. I am going to ask that we get a report back from your office, Mr. Zamora, on the issues that were raised today. It is a county issue. It's a county problem. It's an issue need a county solution. So place a date like before the end of this year you can come back, and I would appreciate it if you'd give a copy of your report to all the 7 commissioners before we come and spend this amount of time on an issue that, it's a good issue. And it maybe by looking at these problems in it, we will be able to make it better. We will make it better. So with that in mind, we're going to take a vote on the receive and file. We have a second. All those for, anybody opposed, see that it passes unanimously, 7-0. Now, we spent a lot of time on this issue. We're ready to go to the irregular agenda. We also have a public forum, as you know, at 2 o'clock. We do need to eat lunch. We have folks here who've been waiting all morning to get on to the regular agenda. And what suggestions do I have from my colleagues? We have to eat something because I know if I don't eat something, I get mean. I need a Snickers bar real fast. So let me hear from my colleagues in terms of, yeah, we do have a press conference, and they're waiting for us. But let me hear from my colleagues in terms of we have to take care of business, and we also need to eat. Vice Mayor Marino and then Commissioner Baxter.
Well, I'd say, I think we should go at least till 1:15. There's people, like you said, there's people that have been waiting. Some of this is easy stuff,
1:15.
and I
Okay.
think we can get food in
Commissioner
45
Baxter?
minutes.
I'm good with
1:15? 1:15. Anybody else, 1:15?
There was a press conference. Do we need to cancel that, or?
No, we are not. We can't cancel a hurricane.
Wow.
So we'll still have that press conference. They're
So-
waiting for us at 12. I'm sorry,
So
Ms.
would
Baker?
there be an option to just, because that was supposed to happen at noon, to go do the press conference and come right back?
May I
Well,
suggest
wait,
then
hold
we
on,
do
hold
that?
on, hold on, just one. That's why we have buttons. Okay. Ms. Baker, what do you have to say? Do you have to say anything about the press conference?
The press conference, we thought we'd wrap up by noon, but if we could go do the press conference, give the board time to
But-
grab a bite to eat and come back maybe 1:15?
1:15 it is. We are in recess till 1:15. Thank you. Let's go.